All right, I think we are now live, up and running. Bit of a different camera setup right now. I've got it just on me. Don't worry, that'll change in a little bit. But as you should know by now with these streams, I'll get the tweet out with the link, and we can jump right in. Say hi if you're in the chat. Hope you guys are all having a good day so far. I have had quite the day myself, which I'll tell you guys about in a little bit. Right, it keeps showing me like the thumbnail for my live. It shows my channel banner, which actually is a pretty hard picture if I could say so myself. But we're gonna copy this link and get this tweet out, and then we can jump right in. All right, hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Played around with the mic a little bit. I don't think I've been able to solve the audio issue so far. Looks like we have one person in here. Jack says, yo, what up, Beast? How's it going, Jack? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. What you been up to today? I had my first day of class today. That was crazy. Some fun stories from that. But how you been, man? My AirPods have been acting crazy too. But we are going to be predicting the season today. So what you'll see in a little bit, I'll pull it up. There's a website where you can pick every single game for the upcoming 2023 NFL season. You can do regular season, you can do the playoffs. And that's what we're going to do today. I actually haven't filled out any predictions or anything yet. I haven't ranked the divisions from 1 to 4 or anything. So we're going in completely raw here. I have a decent idea of teams that I like and stuff, but we'll see how it is once we actually go out on the field, so to speak, and see how these teams fare head to head. Jack says, work, been very busy with that. I'm sure. How's that been? You're full time now, right? Congratulations on that, by the way. Yeah. We'll wait for a few more people to get in here before we fully jump in. I'm also, if we have time, because I don't know how long this is going to take, but we might do some award predictions too. But we'll have a little twist on that, as I always like to do. I have a good idea for that. This could take an hour to 2 hours. I have no idea, but we'll see, man. We'll see. Checking to see Twitter. Just hanging out here right now. I will say, if you're going back and watching this later, shout out to y'all for coming in and watching the replay. Yeah, man. I don't know what else there is to say right now. Caden says no. Welcome to the chat, Caden. How's it going? And Jack says, I start August 28th. Way to go, man. Fist bump. I know. PewDiePie, bro fist, cringe, whatever. What if I just dapped you up, though? That's not even a dap up. That's just a slap. So it'd be I'm very white. It says there's only one person in here right now. Maybe people are popping back and forth. There's two. But I will end up switching my screen to show what's on my computer screen. Shout out Parker for saying he saw the 80 Erics. So you will see that. You'll see a bunch of me when I switch to, well, I guess you can't see right now. I'm actually in OBS right now, which is the software I use to stream. But I'll be switching over soon enough so we can get the predictions started. But it's always an awkward spot right now. I'm very self-aware that I'm a smaller creator. I've got 2 people in here right now. I know a few more are going to be joining soon, and we'll probably jump right in once they get in here. But, it's only so much I can do right now. I'm just out here chilling. But I guess I could tell the story of how I was late for 2 of my 3 classes today while we wait, because I was planning on talking about that. So I have 3 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This was actually my first day of class. School technically started yesterday on Wednesday, but I don't have class on Wednesday, which is pretty nice. The problem is the 3 classes that I have on Tuesday, Thursday are all back to back to back, and they're all in very different parts of campus to the point where I couldn't walk to them because it's just too far. So my first class was Spanish up in good old North Campus, Gilbert Hall. which is pretty close to downtown. Obviously, neither of you guys go to UGA, so that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you. But we have a third person in here now who did go to UGA. What's up, Gabe? Welcome to the stream. I'm telling the story right now of how I was late for 2 of my 3 classes today. So yeah, first class Spanish, Gilbert Hall. Once that gets done, I have 20 minutes to go from Gilbert Hall to Ramsey, which is literally like 2 polar opposite spots on campus. Google Maps says it's a 35-minute walk. There's no way I can walk. I can't just park there because I only have a permit for 1 spot. So I have to take the bus like a freshman. And let me tell you, if you've ever been to UGA when it's busy, like first week of classes, traffic is bad. So that bus ride took about 30 minutes, and I was about 15 minutes late for my class. But my professor is pretty chill. And then after that class, I had to go from Ramsey to Grady, which is the journalism school, which is another, it's about a mile apart. Google Maps says 25-minute walk. I need to get there in 20 minutes. So I take another bus. Picks me up at 12:32. My class starts at 12:45. It says projected arrival 12:37. All right, sick. I'm going to be there early. Come 12:37, we had moved maybe 100 feet. Traffic was somehow even worse. I think it was because of the lunch rush. And I was like 15 minutes late for that class. And to be honest, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I might just be late for those classes every day. But my professors are pretty understanding about that. All right, man. It's been a couple of minutes now. It's been 6 minutes. I think we're going to jump in soon. This might be the audience for tonight, but you know what? That's okay, because I enjoy doing this, and we're just going to have some fun tonight. People want to pop in and out, they can, but I'll be here talking ball. Before I start, though, I do want to say, new video coming out Monday. It's been a long time coming. It's been almost 2 months since my last video, but I'm very excited for this one. I'm almost done editing it. I'm going to record this weekend, the shots of me on camera. Put that all together. Should be ready by Monday. It's going to be a doozy. And then I'm already pretty excited about the next idea I have after that too. But season's coming, man. Things are going to be picking up here. Expect to see a lot more live streams. Hopefully still a steady diet of videos and acting a fool on Twitter. That's how this got started, was me acting a fool on Twitter. Now we're going to get started. As you can see, all the Erics, the Ericception. We're going to jump in to our season predictions main event for today. So in front of me, as you can see on your screen, I'm on next.playoffpredictors.com, which I've successfully managed to close out all of the ads that showed up on here. There were a lot, and I have ad block, as you can see, but that's beside the point. 2023-2024 season. I will be picking every single game for this season. This is the week 1 slate. We're going to pick it. And then we're going to do the same for week 2, 3, 4, onwards and upwards, all the way up until the Super Bowl. Now, like I said earlier today, I have not ordered my standings for the divisions yet. I have ideas, right? I have a few takes if you've watched my last stream, but I have not done this yet. So I'm going to be going in blind. I might be thinking, hey man, I kind of like the Ravens to win the division. But maybe, I just keep picking the Bengals to win their games and the Bengals win the division, I will say I do have a team in mind for who I have winning the Super Bowl. I think it's going to shock some of you guys. I think it is very off-brand for me. That's what I'll say. We'll see, man. We'll see. But it is going to be shocking. But we're going to jump right in. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I was playing around with the camera that shows me earlier. I put it in the bottom right corner. I'll be scrolling so you guys can see the standings and all the games and stuff. But enough chit chat. I'm going to take a big gulp of water and we're going to get started. Also, Jack, to answer your question, Gabe is actually no longer in Detroit. If you couldn't tell by his emojis, he actually works for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now that his internship ended. All right, let's get started. AFC, Week 1, Jaguars and Colts. I think this is pretty easily going to be the Jaguars. I think the Colts still have a ways to go as a team. I do like Anthony Richardson as a prospect. They have some intriguing pieces, but this was a team that was picking fourth in the draft this spring. You know, they did not have a very good year. And we know how I feel about the Jaguars at this point. I feel like I've said my piece on them. I'm very high on Jacksonville. Offense looks great. Defense is underrated, in my opinion. I think they should cakewalk this division. I think Jacksonville winning the South might be my safest division pick, but we'll see. Probably the Chiefs in the West too. But Bengals and Browns now. Okay, so the Browns have a very talented roster. I like a lot of the pieces that they added. I really like how they beefed up their defensive line, especially Dalvin Tomlinson, Larry Ogunjobi. You know, they got some dogs up front. I think Ogunjobi is on the Browns. No, where did he go? He's been on every AFC North team but the Steelers. I think he actually might be on the Ravens now, or is he on the Browns? He was on the Bengals the year they made the Super Bowl. He is on the Steelers. Okay, so Larry Ogunjobi is not a Brown, but they still added Dalvin Tomlinson, which was a big need for them. Teams were running the ball like crazy on them. But, you know, the Bengals are a legit Super Bowl contender. I think they are the better team. This is not going to be all chalk, by the way. Like, we are going to have some wacky picks. In fact, I already have an upset planned for week 1, but so far, pretty safe picks. I think the Bengals winning over the Browns week 1. That's not a crazy take at all. They have a very good team. Don't sleep on Cincy's defense either. Like, the attention always goes to, like, Burrow and Chase and Higgins and Boyd. Let me tell you, that defense is like borderline top 10. They've got a lot of players on that defense. I like Cincy's defense. Texans, Ravens. I'm not the biggest fan of the Texans. I still think, I don't know. They've got a long ways to go. That wide receiver room looks rough. I'm not going to put too much stock into CJ Stroud's preseason performance because, like, you know, it's preseason. I mean, what does it really matter? We're going to go the Ravens. I think that this AFC North division race between the Bengals and the Ravens is going to be a fun one. I think the AFC North as a whole is a very tight division, but I really think these two teams might be duking it out until the very end for the division crown. I'm excited for that. Raiders, Broncos, and got our second divisional matchup so far, and I'm going to go with the Broncos. We'll see how things shake out here when I pick these games, but I really like Denver to maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I think the Denver Broncos might have a solid football team going this year. And I'll explain more in depth as the season goes on. Like, I could spend a lot of time just breaking down every single team right out of the gate. If you want me to, you can. Seriously, you know, if you have any suggestions or anything, just put it down in the chat. I'm always checking chat. It's up on my phone right now. But what I'll say about the Broncos right now is I like how they've sort of remade their team very quickly, and I also think Sean Payton is a huge upgrade at coach. And I'll dive more into that in a little bit. You know, I'll keep building these teams up as the season goes on. Build suspense. Next matchup, man, I really wish this was the Sunday night game. I really do. It stinks, man. Like, whatever. I get that Dallas and New York, like, they bring in the ratings. They're two big markets. But, dude, every single year we see this matchup on Sunday Night Football. And even now that, like, both the teams are good, I just don't care, to be honest. I would much rather see this game on Sunday night. This is the Emmanuel Acho Bowl. This was actually a Sunday night game last year. And the Chargers won despite missing 6 of their defensive starters. It was a great performance by that defense. Brandon Staley called a heck of a game. Herbert played well. And all, like, the Herbert truthers and the Chargers fans, they were having their victory laps. If you remember, Emmanuel Acho called Justin Herbert social media quarterback. He was more of a Tua guy. It was a whole thing. He just had to be there. I'm chronically online, so, you know, I was there. Now, for this game, I don't think it's a secret that I am not super high on the Chargers this season because I don't think they really got that much better, and I think they still have a few glaring weaknesses that most good teams they play against are good at exploiting. And for a while, I was really drinking that Dolphins Kool-Aid. There are receipts out there of me in a group chat pretty much saying, like, the Dolphins are Super Bowl contenders. I think I might have even had them in the Super Bowl when I, like, filled out a way too early playoff bracket back like right after the draft. But I've really cooled off on the Dolphins a little bit. I still think they're a talented team. I still think they're probably a playoff team, but just a lot of weird vibes with Miami right now. Jalen Ramsey gets hurt. He's out till like October. News came out that Teron Armstead got hurt today. He got carted off with a knee injury, which never sounds good. I don't know his status, but man, if they lose Teron Armstead, that is a big blow to their offense because he is an all-pro level left tackle, and he really holds that line together. So that's concerning. And he was hurt some last year, and they were just noticeably worse on offense without him. So I guess in a roundabout way, I think the Dolphins are a better team than the Chargers, but I think the Chargers have a good game plan against the Dolphins. So I'm going to pick them. It's also at home, which I guess I don't know how big of a home field advantage it is for the Chargers, but if you go back and watch the game they played last year, Brandon Staley came in with an excellent game plan. You know, all the teams that the Dolphins were playing against prior to that, they were so scared of the speed of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and they just play off. They give them so much cushion. But that's exactly what the Dolphins wanted them to do. Like, when you have an accurate quarterback like Tua, and you have a guy like Mike McDaniel trying to get him out in space, they're just going to take the underneath stuff, let him cook after the catch. And the Chargers said, no, we're going to press them. Whatever, they might beat us over the top, but we're going to pretty much force Tua to operate outside of this offense that they've created. And it did not work. It was ugly for the Dolphins. So I have the Chargers winning that one. You know, Brandon Staley gets a lot of heat. I actually think he's a pretty good, at least defensive coach. He has good game plans. Execution is sometimes questionable, but I think he's better than some people give him credit for. Tyler Diggs says delusional. I'm not sure what that's in response to, but I'm curious, Tyler. What is my delusional take here? I am all ears. I mean, I can be delusional. You might see me be delusional in a little bit, but we'll move on to the Monday night game now. I don't like the way this site orders it. I mean, it's just AFC games and then interconference and then NFC. So it's not like an order of how the games are, but this is the first Monday night game, and I got to tip my cap to ESPN. They have really stepped up their Monday night scheduling. Bills versus Jets on Monday night to start the year. That is going to be awesome. I am so excited for this game. This is probably the game of week one. And it's two teams, again, that I think might be just duking it out till the end for the division. I'm going to go with the Jets in this one. I really like the Jets. Oh, Dolphins in the Super Bowl? Sorry, I'll get to that in a sec. ADHD. I really like the Jets. I think they probably have a top 3 defense again this year. They were so good last year. And they did it without turnovers too, which is usually a good sign that there won't be regression. And you add in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this team, they won 7 games with probably the worst starting quarterback in the league last year in Zach Wilson. Even if Aaron Rodgers was as bad as he was last season, you don't think that's worth at least 3 wins? I don't know, man. I think these teams are going to be neck and neck. They'll probably split. I mean, they split last year. We're going to go with the Jets in week 1, though. Rodgers' New York debut. Jets win. It's going to be a close one, though. I think a big difference is going to be the Jets' pass rush. Tyler says delusional Dolphins in the Super Bowl. I agree with you now. I've been talked off of that cliff a little bit. I was drinking the Kool-Aid hard earlier, though. I will tell you that. But just a few injuries kind of woke me up. And also, like, I don't know. Tua scares me. Not that I think he's a bad player. I think he's good for what he does. But I don't know. I don't want to sound like morbid or anything. But, like, Tua is really just one bad fall away from his career being over. And obviously, like, I don't want that to happen. And it, like, stinks to say. But that is a little scary, too. And now you're talking about your left tackle hurt. I don't know. They do have... The Dolphins are a talented team. I don't know. Things aren't looking good. We're going to move on now to the opening night match. Actually, this is the kickoff match, which we're doing in the middle, because, of course, that makes sense. Lions and Chiefs. And sorry, Gabe. I guess I don't know where you stand with the Lions these days, if you work for the Bucs, if you're even allowed to be a fan of them or not. But come on. It's Kansas City and Arrowhead. I think... Like, I would pencil the Lions in as my personal division winner for the North. But outside of that, I mean, I think like 10, 11 games is very reasonable maybe for the Lions to win, but they're not on the Chiefs level. I don't know. I'm sorry. They're fun, though. They're a fun team, but it's Kansas City in Arrowhead. They're not losing this game. Steelers and Niners. Gonna go Niners. I mean, they might have top to bottom the best roster in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan is their coach. I don't know who their quarterback is going to be, but they're going to be fine. I mean, if last season is any indication, it took them getting to Josh Johnson on the depth chart for their offense to stop working. It worked with Jimmy. It worked with Purdy. I'm sure it would have eventually worked with Lance, who I don't think has ever been given a fair shot in the NFL. Some of it is bad luck, but I still am a Trey Lance truther. I don't know that he's going to play for the Niners, but I would like to see him get a chance. But we'll talk more about the Niners QBs later, because I've got a spicy Niners QB take, but pretty much whoever it is, they're good for like 12 wins. I think it's so funny seeing people like, well, the Niners scare me because of their quarterback situation. Have you been watching like the past 4 years? It doesn't matter. Like, they are QB proof. It's incredible. Elite defense, elite weapons, good offensive line, one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, what else can you ask from them? If they had a good QB, it would be unfair. It'd be over. Like, if they had like Lamar, they lose one game. I mean, it would be over. Tyler says, Jets are very balanced, a lot of young talent. They are. I mean, they have a good run game. They have a good quarterback. They have a great wide receiver. Offensive line has a few question marks, but they've got good players on it too. And that defense, I mean, it's just nasty. I might speed it up a little bit because we're like halfway through week 1. We have 18 weeks to pick. I will talk some about these teams, though. I'm not just going to like gloss over games, but some matchups I will talk about more than others. Titans and Saints. Ooh, see, the Titans are not going to be bad this year. They're going to be pesky. They're going to be a pain to play against. They'll probably find a way to win like 7 or 8 games. But the Saints in the Dome, they still have a good defense. Derek Carr is an upgrade at quarterback. I'm going to go the Saints. Eagles, Patriots. I'm going to go Eagles on the road. Nice little Super Bowl rematch there. Actually, 2 Super Bowls. We'll talk more about Philly later as we get into the season, but they are one of the best teams in the NFL. They should handle the Patriots, even though the Patriots aren't bad either. There's really not too many bad teams in the NFL this year, outside of these guys. These guys might be like the only like awful team. Like, I honestly think every other team, at least, like, they have bright spots. There's something interesting about them. The Cardinals, however, are not that team. They stink. They're going to lose a lot of games, especially with Kyler out. Even with Kyler, they might win like 6 games, but without him, they might win like 3. Panthers, Falcons. Here we go. So I know we have a Falcons fan in here. I'm not sure what Tyler's exact relation with the Falcons is these days. I know it's been not up and down, but it's always been fun to watch. But the Falcons host the Panthers. Bryce Young's debut. Give me the Panthers. Keep pounding, baby. I like this Panthers team a lot. I like this young defense they have. I think Bryce Young can be good. Maybe not elite, but good right away, just with the way he plays. The receivers are obviously a huge question mark, but outside of their wide receivers, there's no other real big weakness on this team. They have a great corner in J.C. Horn, great pass rusher in Brian Burns, explosive playmaker in Jeremy Chin on the defense. Offensive line is great. Miles Sanders should be still pretty good, maybe not quite at the level he was last season. It's a well-balanced team. I do like the Falcons' offense, I will say. I do think the Falcons might have a pretty fun offense this year, and we'll see where they end up in the division. I don't think they'll end up finishing last, like I was saying for a while. Their defense has a ways to go, but the offense should be fun. Tyler says Falcons will win against Panthers. I think you might split. We'll see. And maybe I'm mean picking the Panthers on the road. But, you know, sometimes teams split and, like, the conventional wisdom says, oh, well, each team will win at home. I don't know. Weird stuff happens. Speaking of weird stuff, oh boy. So, you know how I said earlier that I had an upset pick for week 1? Well, this gives me no pleasure to say because I am a Vikings fan, if you can't tell from the decor behind me. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will beat the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota week 1. I mean, okay, so here's why, right? And before you come at me and say fake fan, pessimistic, Debbie Downer, negative Nancy, right? Here's my reasoning, right? And this brings me no joy, right? I'm not rooting for this. I don't want to be right. But first of all, when I talk about like there's not a lot of bad teams, I see some people say Tampa's going to win like 4 games. I don't know about that. They've got a very talented roster. The defense is still great. They've still got Evans and Godwin, right? The quarterback situation is rough, but they also switched play callers, which Byron Leftwich was just a disaster last season. They were so imbalanced. They just refused to run the ball. They're also healthy on the offensive line again. They add in my man from NDSU, Cody Mauch, I think. I will say I mispronounced his name on my draft live stream, and it was a terrible look for the brand. But he should be a plug-and-play starter right away. I don't care if I'm a delusional North Dakota boy, but I don't know. So the line should be better. The running game should be better. But for this game specifically, think about Tampa's 2 biggest strengths. Their biggest strength on offense and their biggest strength on defense, right? I'll give you a second to think about it while I take a swig of water. Say in the chat, like, your picks. Like, when you think of the Tampa roster, what do you think are their 2 areas of strength? I don't know if you heard my big gulps or not. Shout out Caden for the big gulps comment on my first ever live stream. But Tampa's strengths on offense are their wide receivers. And on defense, in my opinion, it's getting pressure on the interior. You know, on offense, they've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and even Russell Gage, who's a good third option. Defense, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, and then you've got like Devin White blitzing up the middle. They can cause a lot of pressure up the middle. Now think about the Vikings' 2 biggest weaknesses. I would say on offense, it's interior offensive line, and on defense, it's cornerbacks. Tampa is a nightmare matchup for us, and I see all these Vikings fans saying that this is going to be a nice warm-up game. I am so scared that Mike Evans is going to be going up against like Andrew Booth or a Caleb Evans and go for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you have Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey just causing havoc up the middle. You have Ed Ingram at guard for the Vikings, who led the league in pressures allowed last season. And I think Ezra Cleveland, their other guard, was 3rd. An immobile quarterback in Kirk who struggles with pressure up the middle because he can't like throw on the run or roll out. And I just think like this is a nightmare scenario for the Vikings. I don't know. That's my upset pick. Tyler says defense in Tampa is good. And he says, actually, you're making a lot of sense. I'm telling you, I'm not rooting for this, but I think it might happen. Tampa is not a good matchup for the Vikings whatsoever. I could like see it. Like it seems like every year too, like there's always like that week 1 upset where everyone's like, whoa, like what happened here? You know, and I will say this, I'm not saying the Vikings are going to be bad this year. I don't think they will. I think they'll be right in the fight for like a wild card playoff spot. I don't know, man. This is not a good season opening game for the Vikings, though. I hope we're ready to play. I think it's going to be close, but Tampa's my upset pick. I spent a lot of time on that one. But you know what? This is my channel, my stream, my favorite team. We're going to move on now to 2 of my less favorite teams in the Bears and the Packers. And I'm going to go with the Packers. I think the Bears might be a little underwhelming. Their defense is still not good. I think it was last in the NFL last season in points allowed. Their leading sacker from a year ago was Jaquan Brisker, a safety who had 4. They did sign Yannick Ngakoue, but I don't know how much that's actually going to help. Question marks on their offensive line. Still not the greatest team in my opinion. Justin Fields is fun, but even if they double their win total, like what? That's 6 wins. which they might, but that's 6 wins. I don't know. I think they'll probably finish last in that division. The Packers will be opening up the Jordan Love era. And I don't think he has to do a whole lot because I like the running game, right? I like the running backs. Jones and Dillon are really good. I like the offensive line. Wide receivers are questionable, but Watson looks like something. They drafted 2 tight ends. They drafted another receiver. They're just hoping it's probably good enough. And then the defense has a lot of talent. Joe Barry, their defensive coordinator, is questionable. He was very Ed Donatel-esque in that, I don't know, it was frustrating to watch at times, just as a neutral observer, right? The Packers defense is so talented, but I think Green Bay will be a tough out this year. I think people might be underestimating them because Rodgers isn't there. They're well coached. Matt LaFleur is a good coach. They've got good players. Let's move on. Seahawks and Rams. Seahawks and Seattle, come on. I mean, the Rams might be on the verge of like Cardinals level. I think the only thing that really keeps them afloat is the chance that Stafford stays healthy and is back to being good. And they also have Cooper Kupp. But oh man, for everyone that says the salary cap isn't real, go look at the Rams defensive depth chart for this season. That's because they couldn't afford to keep everyone anymore. They went all in for a short period and they got what they wanted. And as a little teaser for my next video, that's kind of what it's all about. Only it's going to be like 30 minutes of me talking about that. But yeah, the Rams will be rough this year. They were rough last year. And then finally, to end week 1, spent a lot of time on week 1. I'm excited, man. Sue me. We've got the Cowboys and the Giants on Sunday Night Football. Yay. Again. Woohoo. It's funny because I actually think these teams are pretty good. I actually am really excited to see Dallas this year. Without giving away too much, I really like the Cowboys. And I like them to win this game. I don't think the Giants are pushovers, though. They were kind of frauds last year. Then again, so were these guys. But, and they beat us in the Fraud Bowl. I think the Giants have a vision, at least on offense. And that defensive line is nasty. All right, week 2. I'll give more standings updates as we go in. I'm not going to be like, oh, this team is 1-0 right now. But Gabe says Vanilla Vic. I'm starting to come around on Vanilla Vic, as in Daniel Jones. I still think they paid too much money for him. But I'm starting to see the vision of what they're trying to do with that offense. And it's really just letting Daboll cook, getting Jones like rolling out on the move, either scrambling or throwing on the run. That's something he does fairly well. And hitting those underneath guys. Daboll does a good job of getting guys open. I mean, Giants receivers were bad last year, but they were getting open. And Jones was hitting them. They've got Saquon. There's a vision. They will be a good, honest football team that might sneak in the playoffs. Week 2, this one's a doozy. Chiefs and Jaguars, divisional round rematch from last season, which, by the way, was actually a fairly close game. I'm telling you, Jaguars. Like, I am all aboard the Jags bandwagon. Am I aboard it enough that I'm going to pick them to beat the Chiefs with a half-week extra rest? I am! Let's go, baby! 2-0 Jags. You know what? Screw it. Why not, right? Crazy stuff happens. The Chiefs aren't going to go undefeated. Let's go, Jags. Duval's going to be rocking. If there's anyone like watching right now that like doesn't know me, they probably think I'm a Jags fan based off my last video and this pick right here. I promise I'm not, but give me the Jags over the Chiefs. Why not? Let's do it. Let's ride. Ravens-Bengals. Oh, we got some juicy matchups in week 2. Ravens-Bengals, another playoff rematch. And another game that was very close. I mean, the Ravens were like the Tyler Huntley fumble at the 1-yard line away from maybe winning the game. Cincy in the jungle? Or the Ravens on the road? What's going to be the difference in this game? I'm trying to think. I think Burrow staying upright might be a big difference. But the Ravens defense plays them so well. I was going to say The Bengals offensive line won't have to do much heavy lifting because the Ravens pass rush is very questionable. There's just a lot of question marks, a lot of unproven talent, which could break out, but it's unproven talent. But even with that in mind, like, go look at like Joe Burrow's numbers against the Ravens. The Ravens play him so well, and that defense is so good. Tyler says, if the Jags win, you're a mastermind, and the Doc is in the house. The Doc is in the house, and I am a mastermind. Jaguars win or not. I'm going to do the board, like the trope of, oh, they'll split. Bengals will win at home, Ravens will win at home. I think they probably will split. Oh, this one's going to be close, though. We're splitting hairs. Bills, Raiders, give me Bills. Raiders defense looks scary, as in, oh, it's going to be bad. They do have a good pass rush. That secondary is brutal. Josh Allen is going to torch them. Yeah, that's really all there is to say. Titans, Chargers. See, this is a kind of game that I think the Titans can actually win. So, you know how I said earlier that the Chargers have a pretty clear weakness that teams can just exploit? You know what it is? It's running the ball. You can just run the ball all day on this Chargers defense. Some of it has to do with the way they play. Some of it has to do with the personnel. I mean, it's been this way ever, like, the past few years. I remember a few years ago, the year that the Chargers played the Raiders, that Sunday night game where they almost tied, but then the Raiders won and made the playoffs. If the Chargers had beaten the Texans, I think it was either the week before or 2 weeks before, but they were playing the Texans. If they would have beaten the Texans, they wouldn't have needed to win that game. And then Rex Burkhead, of all people, goes for like 200 yards on them. I don't know. The Chargers can't run the ball very well either. But I could see Derrick Henry having a very big game. And again, the Titans aren't going to be bad. Derrick Henry is still there. They add DeAndre Hopkins, Chigo Okonkwo, one of my favorite players. Go look him up if you're not familiar with this game. He's like Kittle. He is awesome. He is so much fun to watch. And the defense, like, it will be good. Vrabel coaches them up well. They've still got Jeffrey Simmons. They've still got Harold Landry, right? They've still got Kevin Byard. They've got pieces and players there. This isn't a team that's just going to roll over. And I think in Nashville, leaning on Derrick Henry, they can eke this one out. They're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to play. Colts, Texans. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is the kind of game you're only going to see on Red Zone. That was mean. There's like nothing in my brain for this matchup, to be honest. I'm going to go Colts because they have Jonathan Taylor and Shaq Leonard, and that's my reasoning. I don't know. There's not much to say. The Colts are still probably slightly better than the Texans. Anthony Richardson should be fun. I guess maybe I do want to watch this game. Anthony Richardson should be fun now that he's named the starter. Good on the Colts for making the right move, letting him start right out the gate. That's how it should be done. Free my man Trey Lance. That's all I'm going to say. All right, next one. Dolphins, Patriots in New England. So the classic trope is that the Patriots can't win in Miami. In New England, it's a different story. I don't know. That's just how it's been in the past. You think of like the Miami Miracle, the Fitzpatrick to Gesicki game to give the Chiefs the 1 seed. Might have unlocked a memory for some of you people. Kevin Harlan, I'm calling both games. That was a fun game. I am going to go the Dolphins here. Am I? Am I? The Patriots defense is really good. If you had to like have me name the 3 best defenses in the NFL, the Patriots might make the cut. Bill is still him when it comes to scheming up defenses. Nah, I'm going to go the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a good defense in their own right. They've got more weapons. They'll win. All right, Browns, Steelers. Let me know if I'm going too slow, by the way. Like, if you want me to speed it up, I will. Because I definitely do want to, like, get into the nitty-gritty of the season. Browns, Steelers? The Myles Garrett Bowl? I really don't know what to think of the Browns because it really depends on how the Predator plays at quarterback. I mean, I am skeptical that he's going to be as bad as he was last season. Like, I just don't think he can possibly be that bad again. And if he is, like, better, then, I mean, the Browns have a good, like, roster around him. Their offensive line is still good. Chubb, in my opinion, second best back in the league. Amari Cooper at wide receiver, who was, by the way, still really good. People don't really talk about him. He's still a really good player. Myles Garrett, obviously on defense. Denzel Ward. I like JOK a lot. I might go the Browns. Christine says I hate the Browns. Yeah, you and me both. Yeah. Talk about an organization that just soiled away all of their public goodwill. It stinks. All right, I will not slow down. I respect it. If y'all are liking this pace, we'll stick at this pace. I appreciate the feedback, everyone. Oh, you want to talk about fun games? Jets Cowboys. Oh, that's a good one. I hope this is a 4 o'clock game. I really want to watch this game. Oh, and the Vikings won't be playing on Sunday either. We'll get to this slaughter in a second. Oh, Jets Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys at home. Oh, but Aaron Rodgers against the Cowboys, that's a classic. Think of all the times Aaron Rodgers has gone off against Dallas, and it's in Dallas. We will be watching this game. I'm going to go Dallas, though. They improved a lot this offseason. Oh, that's tough. This one is a toss-up. I'm going to give it to Dallas because of home field advantage. Commanders, Broncos. So Sam Howell's going to be the starting quarterback for the Commanders, which, you know, why not? Give the kid a shot. He looked pretty good in their final game against the Cowboys last season. If he doesn't work out, they have Jacoby Brissett behind him, who I think could start on a lot of teams. I honestly, if I was the coach, I might have Brissett start over Howell just based on who I think the better quarterback is. But I don't mind them giving Howell a shot. You know, I mean, what else are they going to do this year? But again, I keep coming back to the Broncos. So let me give my Broncos spiel. Also, Jack says, don't sleep on my boy. I'm not sleeping on Kenny. Don't worry, man. The Steelers will get some wins here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He proved me wrong. He was substantially better than I thought he would be. And for those of you that will pull up his touchdown to interception ratio, don't let that fool you. Go watch the games. Watch the tape. He showed me some stuff I did not think he had. Rodgers already complaining about the O-line. I mean, it's questionable. I will say maybe that's another reason why Dallas might beat the Jets is because Micah Parsons could just take that game over. The offensive line is a little questionable, especially at tackle. You're counting on ancient Dwayne Brown, who's like 36 at this point, to go up against Micah Parsons. That could be rough. All right, I feel better about the Cowboys pick now. But for the Broncos, I'm going to pick them again. Here's my thing with the Broncos. So last year, everything blew up in their face. It was a complete and utter disaster. And you can blame Russ. You can blame Nathaniel Hackett. They both deserve a lot of blame. They were both awful. You know what was not awful? Their defense. You remember seeing that stat all over? Whereas like if the Broncos scored 18 points every game, they'd be like 12-5 or something. And I think most people saw that. They're like, haha, who let Russ cook? It's like, no, their defense was nuts. Their defense is good. Pat Surtain, legit shutdown corner, right? Their pass rush doesn't have any stars, but like it's a good rotation of solid players. They're good on the defensive line. Justin Simmons is still an elite safety. And then on offense, like I said earlier, they completely remade this team. I really like how they've revamped this offense. I think it's going to be a lot easier for Russ this year. So last season, and this started probably like halfway through the 2020 season, so the COVID year. Russ's big thing is that he struggles a lot against two high safety looks, two safeties deep down the field trying to prevent the big plays. He struggles a lot against that because a lot of his game relies on big plays. He also struggles to hit the middle of the field sometimes. He struggles more in structure. His athleticism is gone a little bit. And it looked bad for the most part. They bring in Sean Payton, who, in my opinion, I'm not a Sean Payton enjoyer by any means as a Vikings fan. I have a vendetta of sorts against that man. But that being said, I think this might sound crazy. I think he's like a top 5 offensive coach of all time. Just as far as like scheming up offenses, calling plays. It is ridiculous what he has done. And he's done it without Drew Brees too. Go look at Sean Payton's like record without Drew Brees. He has a winning record. His team still put up points. I mean, like even Brees' final year where he had like Big Ben retirement level arm strength, they still were like one of the best offenses in the league. That's Sean Payton cooking. I mean, this dude like went 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill as his quarterbacks when Brees got hurt one year. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for just being a really good coach. But the big thing the Broncos did was they beefed up their offensive line, and I think they're going to run the ball a decent amount. And why I like that is because teams just play too high against Russ, right? Because like he just panics, he doesn't know what to do. That's not what he likes. And the Broncos are pretty much like, you know what? You're going to play too high? Sick. We're going to pound the rock. You're going to give us light boxes? We're going to run the ball. They go bring in Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey to their offensive line. And another big thing, don't forget, Javonte Williams is coming back. I think people kind of forgot just how good he was his rookie season. He got hurt early last year. Want to talk about a big, powerful runner that is just fun to watch run people over. That's Javonte Williams. I could see Javonte Williams having a huge year this year. And don't sleep on Sean Payton as a guy that can scheme up running games. Like, the narrative around him is like, oh, like passing yards and quarterbacks and stuff. But the Saints have been pretty consistent about being good at running the ball with like a constant rotation of running backs, even back with like the Pierre Thomas days, you know? So I think Denver will be a very good rushing team. I think the defense is there. And if they run the ball, they can set up more play action, get Russ out on the move a little bit. He doesn't have to operate in the pocket as much. And he can kind of go back to doing what he likes to do, running around, throwing on the run. But, you know, if it's like play action bootlegs, stuff that's designed to just get him out on the move, it's not him just like running around like back in Seattle. So that's my long way of saying I like the way the Broncos remade their team, and I think they've got a pretty decent looking football team with a very good head coach, and they're going to surprise some people. Maybe I spent so much time on this game because this game is one that I'm not looking forward to. The Eagles are going to win this game. They might win it by a lot. These two teams played in primetime week 2 last year, and it was humiliating. It was terrible. I am not looking forward to this game whatsoever because, one, it will probably be another Vikings primetime meltdown. And again, like, I'm really trying to be optimistic. I don't hate the Vikings, I promise. But we have that. Plus, at least selfishly for me, I'm in Athens, Georgia. You know what the big thing is about the Eagles right now? It's like, oh, Georgia North, the Philly Bulldogs, let's go. Dude, if Philly, like, there are going to just be so many, like, Philadelphia Eagles fans in Athens that are just going to be thumping their chest when they sack Kirk Cousins for the 5th time. Like, I am so glad I don't have class on Friday because I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like the Eagles, to be honest. I'm just going to say it. I will be objective. I'll be fair to them, right? I have teams that I like more than others, and I have teams that I dislike more than others, but I will always be honest. I mean, look at me. I have the Vikings at 0-2 right now. But yeah. Yeah. Grace and Truth says, go Bucks. Go Bucks indeed. Honestly, maybe it's not a burner. I think I know who it is. Mick, is that you? That's my theory. We're going to move on now to the Bucks for the next game. Bucks and Bears. Dare I say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers start 2-0. I've gave my Bears spiel. I think they're just not quite there yet. I think that Bears fans might have a bit too high of an expectation. I just think Tampa might be a better team than the Bears, which is crazy to say because of the narratives around these teams, but I'm going to pick Tampa. Packers, Falcons. Here you go, Tyler. here's a Falcons win, right? Falcons, what do? They run the ball, man. They ran the ball last year. Arthur Smith. They had Tyler Algier go for 1,000 yards. And now they bring in my man Bijan, which if you're watching the replay or if you're just new to this channel right now, if you're watching, go watch my Bijan video and you'll see how I feel about him. Packers have struggled a little bit against the run recently, past few years. That's been kind of their weakness on defense. I could see the Falcons having a good day on the ground against the Packers. I'll give the Falcons a win here. They're 1-1. I feel like that's fair. Gabe says, by the way, Vikings win week 2. I hope so, man. I will say this. If the Vikings win week 2 in primetime in Philly, I am going to take the biggest victory lap of all time. I'm going to be insufferable. I might actually go live for the Vikings-Eagles game. Like, I might just live stream while the game is on and you guys can, like, watch it with me. I might do that. Like, I've thought about doing that. I think that'd be fun. But, oh, man, I'm telling you, if the Vikings win that game, I'm going to throw a parade. I'm going to parade around Athens, and I'm going to yell that Jordan Davis stinks. I promise I don't hate UGA either. I just get crucified because I have them, like, ranked 4th on my favorite teams. They might be 3rd. They might have passed Atletico Madrid. But anyways, Christine says Falcons, all caps. What team do you claim these days? Is it the Raiders or is it the Falcons? One of these days we're going to get you on the Vikings fandom. If you have to pick one Minnesota team, I think the Vikings are a good one to pick, respectfully. But, I mean, I guess I could respect you liking the Raiders and the Falcons. They don't really overlap. Respect your hometown team. I like it. All right. Seahawks-Lions. So, the Lions will probably be extra ready for this game because Seattle was the one that took their spot in the playoffs last year. This is in Detroit. This one should be a fun one, too. We've got a good week 2 slate. Christine says, Raiders right now. Go Allison Cooch. That's right. Allison Cooch. Isaac Rochelle. Is he on the Raiders? Is he on the or did he just get like a tryout? Is he like on their camp roster? For those that don't know, Isaac Rochelle is the husband of Allison Cooch, a famous TikToker. And they do like a lot of couples TikToks together. And Rochelle he was on the Browns for a little bit, and then the Browns cut him. And he was on the Raiders, and now he's back on the Raiders, I think. I know way too much about Isaac Rochelle because of TikTok. I would not have known who he is otherwise. Also, my takes have nothing to do with skill, so no one take me seriously. Oh, no, we're taking you seriously, Christine. For all we know, hey, it is a crapshoot. Like, for all we know, if you did this, you could do just as well as me. I mean, that's why they play the games, you know? That's the beauty of it. We're actually going to talk about this game now, though. I feel like we haven't really dove into this game yet. Seahawks and Lions. I'm going to go Seahawks. I'm kind of mean putting the Lions at 0-2 to start. I think the big difference will be, can Detroit get the passing game going against a really good Seattle secondary without Jameson Williams? And, you know, the Lions made a lot of improvements in their secondary, but is it enough to stop a trio of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba? For me, that really might be what the game comes down to. I feel like these two teams are fairly even. Also, just a reminder, Bobby Wagner's back on the Seahawks, which, like, he's not an all-pro anymore, but, like, he's still really good against the run. You get him going downhill. He's a smart player. That was a good move for them. I like that. Bring him back home. Niners, Rams, Niners. I mean, the Niners own the Rams for the most part. Outside of that one NFC Championship game, the Niners always beat the Rams. And this will be a home game for the Niners, too. I mean, we don't need to talk about this one much. This is going to be the Niners winning. Probably big. Giants, Cardinals. Yay. We're going to go Giants. Again, the Cardinals, they might win 3 games. I will have them win some, obviously. Like, if I just had to pick, like, who's better, like, I would not pick the Cardinals once. But they will win a few games. Like, weird stuff happens, you know? Man, could you ever imagine not winning a single game? Couldn't be my team. uh, let's go. Sports. Eric speaking facts. I don't know what that was in response to, but I'll take it. All right. Saints Panthers. Ooh, Saints Panthers on Monday night. Not too shabby of a matchup, actually. I'm going to go with the Saints. For as much as I like Bryce Young, I think the Saints defense might cause some problems. I do still like New Orleans' defense. They were really good second half of the year last year. We'll go Saints in a close one. This game might have major implications down the line. That's all I'm going to say. All right, week 3. Let's go, baby. I'm going to take a quick water break, and we're going to dive into week 3. We're going to start with the Titans and the Browns. And I will say, for as much as I've talked about the Titans being a pesky team and every game is going to be tough against them, the Browns might cause some problems for the Titans. And I say that because you might not think this, because the narrative around the Titans is that they're a tough, hard-nosed team. That offensive line is brutal. It is bad. Myles Garrett might have like 5 sacks in this game. I don't know if Dennis Daly is still starting for the Titans, but he led the NFL in sacks allowed last season. Yeah, the Browns' defensive line will probably go off in this game. They have Big Z too, Zadarius Smith. Yeah, those two are going to eat. The Browns win this one. It's also in Cleveland, where they'll cheer on their quarterback. Yay. Texans, Jaguars. Jaguars 3-0, man. Come on. I mean, this is an easy win for Jacksonville in Duval County. Trevor Lawrence will have a big day. I feel it. Oh, now we have the Baltimore Bowl, the Art Modell Bowl. Or wait, no, Art Modell was the Browns, wasn't he? This was Robert Irsay. Anyways, I'm getting my lore mixed up. Colts, Ravens. This was a fun Monday night game a few years ago, if you remember. Lamar going absolutely nuclear. That was maybe his best game. I like the Ravens to win again. I don't know. This Ravens team is really good. I really can't wait to see Lamar in a more open offense. Here's what I'll say about the Ravens. If you want to hear some UGA praise, for those that think I'm a Georgia hater, I think the Ravens were geniuses for hiring Todd Monken as their offensive coordinator. If you want my honest opinion, as someone that's seen every Georgia game over the past few years, Todd Monken deserves so much credit for Georgia's national championships. He did an unbelievable job as offensive coordinator for UGA. A lot of creative play designs, really good at just utilizing the personnel that he had. And I'll say this, as someone that is a very big Brock Bowers enjoyer, if you want to be lazy and connect the dots, I would love to see what Todd Monken can do with Mark Andrews. I don't know, man. The Ravens might be really good this year. I mean, they just might. I'm really excited for the Ravens. Gabe says, I'm going to grab popcorn. This is my Oppenheimer. And now I am become Dr. Maker of Picks. Any of y'all seen Oppenheimer? I know me and Christine saw it a few weeks ago. Love that movie. Great film. Go see it in theaters if you haven't. It is an awesome experience. Christine says Saints in all caps. I suppose you rep the Saints too for Juwan, don't you? Juwan Jennings? We know all the TikTokers on this channel. Juwan Jennings is also, he's either dating or married to another TikToker. Broncos, Dolphins. I'll go Dolphins here. For as much as I've gassed up the Broncos, I mean, they're not going to win every game. They're still not like an elite team. You know, I just think like the Broncos, they might finish like around 500. You know. It passed the Bechdel test. Did it? I think it did. Believe it or not, I don't keep track of that stuff when I watch a movie, but that's just me personally. Nothing is going on. This is so boring. Lightning says, I only root for the Vikings. So true. Who are you, Lightning? Reveal yourself. Christine says, we love the TikTok husbands. You know, yes, we do. Maybe I should get like an Isaac Rochelle jersey just for the memes for this channel. I can pull up being like, yo, Dr. Pigskin, Isaac Rochelle crossover. Gabe says it definitely did not. Yeah, I didn't think so. Still a good movie. Patriots, Jets. We're going to go with the Jets here. I do think they might split, though. Bill Belichick does love beating the Jets. If there's someone that hates the Jets, it's Bill Belichick. But the Jets just are a better team. The Patriots don't have a lot of explosiveness on offense. I've talked about how much I like their defense. I like Ramondre Stevenson as a running back. Juju is their wide receiver 1, which he's probably better as a 2. The person on offense who probably excites me the most, well, not excites me, but intrigues me the most for the Patriots is Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki is really, really good. He's not a traditional tight end, but he's an excellent receiver. And before Mike McDaniel came in, the Dolphins just pretty much used him as like an oversized slot receiver, and it worked really well. But, he can't block, and McDaniel is from the Shanahan tree, so if a tight end can't block, they belong on the streets pretty much. So, he almost never played for the Dolphins last year, but even when he did come in, he'd score, and then, he'd hit his little, skedaddle gritty, right? He was still good when they actually used him. I think he's an excellent receiver. Anyways, that's my piece on Mike Gesicki. The day you get Isaac Rochelle on Dr. Pigskin, I'd cry. Maybe one day we'll make that happen. I'll just frantically DM him every single day. Please come on my channel for clout for both of us. Maybe one day I'll be the one boosting his clout. We'll see. I love the Vikings when they lose to the Lions. Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about Vikings versus Lions when we get to the end of the year, because I have a lot I can say about that. Remember when Bill Belichick took the Jets head coaching job and then left right away for the Pats? The Pats had to give up compensation for him. Worked out for the Pats. Oh, yeah. Big time. That's a classic story. Didn't he, resign during his introductory press conference? It was crazy. It was a whole thing. Good times. Yeah, fun fact. Bill Belichick, Jets head coach for a day. He also coached the Browns. Took him to the playoffs, too, I'm pretty sure. But that was back in the 90s. Where's the tip button? Unfortunately, I don't have that yet, but as I said in one of my previous streams, you know my Venmo, man. Don't actually do it. Please don't actually do it. But it's a funny joke, I promise. All right. Ooh, little teaser for my video. Steelers-Raiders. This is a special matchup in NFL history. That's all I'm going to say. Something very special happened when these two teams played many, many years ago. The Steelers won back then, and they're going to win this time too. For as much as I champion Jimmy and the It Factor, the Raiders just might not be very good. They might be picking in the top 5. I can only imagine the media team for the Jets And Grace in Truth says, yes, LOL. I'm loving the chat right now. People are active in here. I love the participation, I gotta say. I'm the doctor. And think of this like a lecture, right? A good doctor or professor, when they're giving a lecture, they open the floor to question. Oh my gosh. I did not just get $6. Anyways, they open the floor for participation. So feel free to chime in. I'm loving the activity. We're an hour in. We're only in week 3, but honestly, I'm loving it. I might have to speedrun it at some point just to get to the end. But right now, I'm having fun talking about these teams. Bills, Commanders. I'll say my piece on the Bills now. How about this? I'll say my piece on these teams, and then we can work from there. And I've said my piece on them. We'll just keep going. Long story short, I like what the Bills have done this offseason. I think they were very self-aware. They took a hard look in the mirror, and they thought, you know what? We keep getting punched in the mouth, and we can't do that anymore. They beefed up their defense. They got Taylor Rapp, who I think might be seeing some time at nickel. This is just speculation. I haven't been plugged in with training camp, but he was a safety from the Rams, really good against the run. And that was their thing. Teams could run on them, soft boxes. They also have Sean McDermott calling the defense now, which I'm excited to see what that looks like. And you want to talk about one of the most underrated signings of the offseason? I have talked this player up a lot, not necessarily on this channel, but on my Twitter and just amongst my friends. How about the Bills signing Poona Ford? I love Poona Ford so much. He's just a big dude that's really good at taking up space. And I'm so excited I like spit. That's really embarrassing. But the Bills signed him, and he is just a beast. He is so good at just taking up space. And even if he only sees the field for 2 downs, that is exactly what the Bills need. I'm pretty high on the Bills this year, I will say. People are talking about their downfall, how their window is closing. They have a good team again this year. And I say this like, we all know my history with the Bills. This is going to sound crazy. I'm not a Bills hater anymore. I had my fun last year, right? The Vikings beat them, and then they lost exactly how I thought they would in the playoffs. You know, Bengals just grounded and pounded on them in the snow. I've had my fun with the Bills at this point. To be honest, I'm kind of over-hating on them. Like, I respect them. You know, cold weather team. They play outside. 0 for 4 in Super Bowls. I can relate to that. I respect the Bills. I've ended my Bills hater arc, which is going to be crazy to say, but it's true. Adrian Peterson is an exemplary father. Just saying. Christine says Raiders, and Lightning says you're spitting truth. Man, I'm actually excited for Bills football. They also signed Damian Harris too, which should help with their run game. If we want to talk about one of the new teams I've started to hate on a little bit, and I say hate on, like, it's mostly good fun. Like, I'm never like, oh man, I hope nothing but pain and suffering for the entire organization. Like, it's not like that, but, you know, sometimes it's fun to have villains. It's this team right here. I have a couple of reasons. I mean, like, so, one, LA as a football town, whatever. I think it's stupid that they get 2 teams, let alone 1. And I somehow have ended up on Chargers Twitter based on like accounts I've interacted with, not even like replying to them or anything, but like, you know how Twitter is. You click on a tweet because like you see like Justin Herbert's the 3rd best quarterback in the league. You click on it, you're like, no, it's not. I hope people in the replies are cooking him. And next thing you know, you get like Justin Herbert fan accounts all over my For You page. And it's just, I don't know. It's so stupid. I don't actually hate the Chargers. But I will say, between that and then the Justin Herbert versus Justin Jefferson Rookie of the Year beef, which I actually saw like the 2 teams' official Twitter accounts beefing, there's like a weird rivalry between these 2 teams. And man, I got to tell you, it's felt good smacking them in LA the past few times we've played. I'm going to be up and ready for this game. Vikings get their first win of the season in Valhalla at home against the Chargers. Madison with a decent day on the ground. Jefferson cooks. TJ Hawkinson, you know. Vikings get their first win against the Chargers. Say what you want about the Vikings, but for whatever, like, they have beaten the Chargers a lot recently. I guess the Chargers had their win, whatever. I'm getting off topic. Less than 3 hours, and then it's my time to shine. Oh, you copying the new Madden? Probably not, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not a big Madden guy. Well, that's not true. I play Madden a lot, but I have Madden 20 on a disc. Shout out to the real ones who know about the Madden 20 franchise lore. Eric Tiongson, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know. I play Madden from time to time, but I refuse to reward EA with my money for the product that they've been putting out. That's just my opinion. Hawkinson, former Lion. So true. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for him. Bears Chiefs, come on. We're not even going to talk about that one. Rams Bengals Super Bowl matchup on Monday night. Oh, would you look at that? Fun little blast from the past. Very underrated Super Bowl, by the way. It was a really good game. It came down to the very end. Bengals win this time, though. They're the better team. It's in Cincy. Giants Niners. Ooh, okay. Call me crazy. I'm going to pick the Giants, right? I've said this whole time, right? I'm not going chalk. Like, there'll be some upsets. And yes, I know that it's in San Francisco. But I talked earlier about how the Giants have a really good front four, really good pass rush. One of the quiet things about the Niners is that they have Trent Williams at left tackle, who is, to be fair, elite, probably the best left tackle in the league. A lot of question marks outside of that, not very good depth. And, with the question mark at quarterback, I could see this being a game where they just get sacked a lot. And the Giants this is one of those games that the Giants just win. I don't know. Like, sometimes these wins happen. I mean, like, what? The Colts beat the Chiefs last year. The Commanders beat the Eagles. Weird stuff happens. And the Giants aren't a bad team either. I think it's fair to say, like, this could happen. Jack says 34-13. I'm trying to think. What score was that? 34-13. Anyways. Justin Fields, run. Absolutely. He do be running a lot. I've gotten 2 more payments. This is actually incredible. I want to thank, I'm going to personally thank the 3 people that have Venmo'd me. Gabe, Christine, and Mick. Thank y'all so much, man. Hey, that really does mean a lot to me. I'm not like, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever gotten like donations, if you will, from a stream. So that does really mean a lot. Even something like it just means a lot. Yeah. Can we Venmo you for your picks? I mean, shoot, that seems to be what people are doing. I mean, I won't say no. It's your money, not mine. Like, I'm never gonna like beg for money or anything, but if you want to do it, like, I mean, yeah, baby. Oh, Falcons versus Lions. This is a fun little matchup right here. A couple of years ago, was it TJ Hawkinson? Game-winning touchdown? I'm trying to remember how this game went, but there was a weird ending. We're going to go Lions. Well, the Lions are 0-2. That's crazy. Okay, so Lions get their first win at home against the Falcons. I don't know. They're a better team than Atlanta. I don't know what else there is really to say. Falcons aren't bad, but they're just not quite there yet. I have them probably in like that 7 to 8 win range personally. Packers Saints. Packers Saints. Close one. We've seen a few good games between these two teams. I'm going to go Packers and Lambeau. You want to know what's crazy? Talking about teams that I like or don't like. And this is going to sound absolutely wild. I actually don't really have too much against the Packers. I actually respect the heck out of the Packers. They are the ideal NFL organization. And I know, like, I'm probably going to get ostracized by my fellow Vikings fans for it. And I get it. Like, obviously, like, when it's game time and I'm playing against them, like, oh yeah, screw them, right? Like, we're going to beat the crap out of the Packers. Like, that's obviously the goal every year. But I just respect the way they do things, man. And as someone that's been to Lambeau Field, that is an incredible experience. I'm telling you, if you ever get the chance, go to a Packers game in the winter at Lambeau Field. Be sure it's in the winter too. Like, I'm sure, like, oh, it's cold, and I'm sure, like, it's nice when it's warmer. But if you want the real Lambeau experience, go in the winter. The Vikings got killed. It was, 41-17. It was humiliating. But, like, the fans were really nice. They were welcoming. The food was good. The atmosphere was cool. If you like football, go to Lambeau Field. That's all I'm going to say. It is awesome. Boo Packers. Lightning says 15-2 Lions, only losses to the Vikings. Wouldn't that be something? Christine says tears. That was insane. Seahawks and Panthers. I'm going to go, Seahawks 3-0. Interesting. All right. I mean, I guess that's just how it's playing out. I do like the Seahawks. I think even if Geno regresses a little bit, like, it's not going to really sink this team because they're pretty well built all around. I love the drafting of Zach Charbonnet. Him and Kenny Walker are a great duo. Offensive line has improved a lot. Some interesting stuff to come out about their offensive line recently. I'll just leave it at that. But they do have a pretty talented offensive line. Obviously, 3 great receivers, some great corners. Pass rush is really the only question mark. You're hoping that maybe some of their younger guys can step up. I do like Uchenna Nwosu. I think he's pretty underrated, but like They don't have like a guy at like pass rush, but they're a well-built team. They're another team that does things the right way, so to speak. Cowboys, Cardinals, Cowboys. Eagles, Bucks. Another playoff matchup from a few years ago. Eagles. For as much as I've been, leading the Buccaneers ship or whatever, Eagles beat them. Come on. All right. Hey, week 4. We're making some progress. Caden O'Connor says, I don't know why I read your last name there. Caden says, say it again. I respect the Packers. All right. Go ahead. Record it. Take it, put it up on your Snapchats and your Instagrams and all that. Whatever. I've said it. I respect the Packers. I do. Bills, Dolphins. These were some fun games last year. These two teams are pretty evenly matched. This one is in Buffalo, and I just think that Buffalo got better. I think the Dolphins got better too, but again, injury problems. Stephon Diggs against Xavier Howard might be a problem for Miami, especially with no Ramsey out there. That could be the matchup that wins Buffalo the game. I'm going to take the Bills. It's too bad they don't play in the snow again. That Saturday night game in the snow last year was awesome. I mean, you know me. I love snow football. That was such a great game. That was one of the best games of the year, in my opinion. It's a shame they don't play in the winter again. Ravens, Browns? Give me the Ravens. Like I said, I really like the Ravens. Steelers, Texans. See, here's a win for your boy, Jack, Kenny. Right, Steelers 2-2. I'm telling you, the Steelers will probably somehow again, as they always do, finish with a winning record. They always do it with Mike Tomlin. Some years, I don't know how they've managed it. This year, I actually think they have a pretty talented team. Kenny Pickett should be better, and he was actually decent as a rookie, not like elite. He didn't light the world on fire or anything. I like Najee Harris, the running back. Offensive line is a question mark, but they did make some moves. Steelers got Broderick Jones, right? Did they not? And they also signed Isaac Seumalo, who I think Isaac Seumalo is really good. He's a guard from Philly, and Broderick Jones, so the line should be better. The wide receivers are great. Deontay Johnston, George, more talented than Justin Jefferson Pickens, which that's a take if I've ever seen one. Pat Freiermuth at tight end. I mean, the offense has pieces. They also got Allen Robinson, who wasn't good last year, but if he's their fourth option, you take that. And defense. I mean, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith, Minka Fitzpatrick. They add Pat Pete. Defense will be good again. They could roll 11 copies of me out there. And if Mike Tomlin is coaching the defense, they'll be fine. Like that. The Steelers just have that aura when it comes to defense. So I'm not worried about them. I think they will be a good team. They might be a playoff team in the NFC. AFC is tough because the AFC is just so stacked. But the NFC, there's a few teams in the AFC. It's like you put them in the NFC, they're a playoff team. Bengals, Titans, Bengals. Bengals are 4-0. They're off to a roaring start. I need water after that. Caden says, yeah, that's getting clipped. Jordan Love looks a little too good. I mean, we'll see when the games actually start. He did look pretty good last year when he came in that Philly game. I was actually impressed with, how quickly he was going through his reads, getting the ball out. He looked like a pro quarterback. Christine says, I'm going to get you a cheesehead. Please don't. I mean, we're not going that far. Come on, people. There's a difference between respect and fanatical. I'm not fanatical about the Packers. Took a quick time out there for Chargers Raiders. If you know, you know. I referenced that game from a few years ago. That was a fun game. That was the first game back from winter break my junior year of college. I remember watching that with the boys. That was an electric game. I was rooting for the tie. I'm going to go Raiders. Raiders get their first win of the year. Josh Jacobs, I guess we don't know if he's going to play or not. He's got his holdout, but I mean, the Raiders, I had him at 0-3, but they're not bad either. Jimmy G is about average as a starter, but he plays really well with Josh McDaniels, which much has been made about his coaching tenure, but this is his last chance right here, maybe. But you got Jimmy G. Josh Jacobs is a great back. Devontae Adams, all-pro level receiver. They also added Jacoby Myers, McDaniel's old pal from New England. Those two have made beautiful music together. And then they draft Michael Mayer at tight end. They've got like really good weapons on offense. The line is a little shaky, which is worrisome because Jimmy can't move very well. But if they can protect Jimmy for like 2.5 seconds, he might cook a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Defense, outside of pass rush, it's terrible. So that's why they probably won't be very good. But offense could be fun. Like, there could be like a random Raiders game where they put up like 35. And it's like, whoa, what the heck? You know? They have players. Jimmy G and Gabe are brothers. Yeah, so I've heard. Apparently people have compared the two. I don't know. I mean, shoot. If someone said I looked like Jimmy G, I would take it. That is a handsome man right there. Caden says yes in all caps. Not sure what the response, what that is in response to, as I get, I'm not making this up. More love, that's all I'm going to say. Chiefs Jets. Ooh. Chiefs Jets. Rodgers versus Mahomes. Okay. Maybe a little playoff preview action. Do I dare have the Jets win? The Chiefs' one real weakness is their tackles. They were not good last year, and it didn't really matter. They're not good this year. I guess wide receiver is a little shaky too, especially with Juju gone. I'm going to go with the Jets. That's crazy. The Chiefs are currently at 2-2, but I'm going to go with the Jets. The Jets pass rush, again, they don't have a superstar on the edge, but their edge rush rotation, like 6 deep, is probably best in the NFL. I mean, like, it is just crazy. Like Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff, John Franklin Myers. Is it Carl or Shaq Lawson? I feel so bad for not remembering. But, like, they just have an insane rotation of pass rushers. And I'm sorry, like, the Chiefs tackles, Orlando Brown is gone now. I thought he was kind of overrated. He actually gave up a lot of pressure last year. Andrew Wiley was also up there for like most pressures given up in the NFL. I said Ed Ingram was first in the NFL pressures allowed. I'm pretty sure Andrew Wiley was second. He's their right tackle. And they have Donovan Smith from Tampa coming in to play left tackle, who was coming off his own poor year. I will say Mahomes has a way of just like escaping the rush, but I don't know. It's not the best matchup for the Chiefs. They're 2-2. I mean, I think it's just like silly to say that like, oh, the Chiefs will go undefeated. I don't know. They'll lose some games. No, not the Jets, says Gabe, who I know does not like the Jets. Grace and Truth says Chiefs. Sorry. I don't know. They'll get their wins. Don't worry. I'm not going to be like, the Chiefs might actually win 10 games this year. Like, no, let's not get too crazy. But Falcons, Jags in London. This is a home game for the Jags at this point. I know I don't have the Jags at 4-0. But hey, that's just kind of how their schedule is. I mean, I did give them a win against the Chiefs. But when I say that the Jaguars are in the good place, they're in the good place. I mean, I don't know. I just think this is also a Calvin Ridley revenge game. Ooh, that'll be something to watch for. Gonna be getting up early in the morning for Jaguars and Falcons in London. Some teas and crumpets and Trevor Lawrence touchdowns. I will be doing the London voice for the London games like I did last year. Maybe I'll do the Germany voice once we get to the Germany game, which it's a shame the matchup that they picked for it, which if you don't know what it is, we'll get to that. But Colts Rams, there's like, again, this is a game that like nothing really comes to my brain for this. I'm going to go Colts. Why not? Anthony Richardson will have one of those games. It's like, oh, maybe there's something, in Lucas Oil Stadium, the house that Peyton built. We'll give the Bears a win here. For as much as I've gassed up the Broncos, I think they've lost 2 straight now in this. The Bears aren't like poverty. They'll win some games. I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Ask a Bears fan, though. They're never losing again. It's 1985 all over again. Patriots, Cowboys. The two American teams. The America Bowl. The battle for USA. Oh, I have the See, I can't let this influence, though, right? I look at the Patriots at 0-4 right now. I'm like, man, they're better than that. Give them the win. I don't think they beat Dallas, though. Sorry, that's how it works. I'm not going to, let it influence me, you know? The Patriots are 0-4. I did not anticipate that, but here we are. Lions-Packers. Nice little rematch from end of last season. Lions win in Lambeau again. Oh, this one's also on Thursday night. Okay, primetime. The Lions, they should be fun. You know, they'll be without Jameson Williams for a while, but then he'll be back. I think they will need him eventually. I do like Amon-Ra. The line is elite. I mean, I would struggle to name more than two offensive lines better than the Lions, if even. 1 through 5, I mean, they're just neck and neck with Philly. It is incredible what they've built. Defense, much improved. Hutchinson, Houston, good at edge. Malcolm Rodriguez, great linebacker. Good rookie season last year. They add in Jack Campbell, who I think will fix a lot of the problems against the run. If you remember, the Panthers bullied them last year. They ran for 300 yards against the Lions, so they needed some help there. And then they bring in, some nice pieces in the secondary, which should be better. I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, great player. One of the best in the league at what he does. Cam Sutton, all right. We're looking at something here now. Yeah. They also signed a guy from the Niners, Mosley, Emmanuel Mosley, I think his name is. He's all right, too. So they should be better on defense, and their offense was really good last year. Vikings-Panthers. Vikings. Sorry. Had to be done. I don't know. I mean, J.C. Horn versus Justin Jefferson should be cinema. That should be a great matchup. I guess if I had to pick one other weakness for the Panthers besides wide receiver, it's corners outside of J.C. Horn. And I think that's where Jordan Addison might really shine. There's a reason we took him first round, because defenses just put everything on Jefferson. And they pretty much dared the other receivers to beat him. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But with Jordan Addison in the fold now, he should be seeing a lot of looks. We are going to cook up looks for him. And we have a full season of TJ Hawkinson too. Lions have depth at D. They do. They made a lot of moves this offseason. Credit to them. Aaron Rodgers hated. Grace and Truth also says the Lions will beat the Chiefs. We'll see, man. I don't know. Hey, if you're right about that, go ahead and dunk on me. I'll take it like a champ. Commanders, Eagles. This was the upset from last year that ruined the Eagles' perfect season. Eagles off to a 4-0 start. Beat the Commanders, who 1-3. That's legit, Ooh, Bucks, Saints. These two are tied for the division lead right now. Saints in the Superdome. Tail old as time. I don't know. It's going to be loud. The defense is going to be rocking. I like the weapons the Saints have, too. Chris Olave, Shaheed. I'm forgetting someone. Michael Thomas, if he ever plays. Yeah. Saints will win. They are slightly better than the Bucs. They are better than the Bucs, I will say. And they have the clear advantage at quarterback. Derek Carr's a little overhated. Is he top half in the league? On his good years, he is. He's weirdly inconsistent. Just 2 years ago when the Raiders made the playoffs, he was really good. Last year was just rough for him. I don't think he and McDaniels were a good fit from the start. I'm willing to give him another chance in a new spot. Cardinals are still not going to get their first win yet. Sorry. Niners moved to 3-1. Giants, Seahawks. Interesting matchup. These two teams played last year too. Seahawks won, I think. We'll have the Seahawks win again. Giants corners are fine. Could be a big day through the air for the Seahawks. Or no, did the Giants win that one? I don't remember, actually. Raise the flags, fire the cannons. Bucks, Bucks, Bucks. Pirate emoji. Oh, I love it. All right. Here's where the Jags get their first loss. They're still in London, but they play the Bills. I don't know. Josh Allen really is an alien. You want to hear something crazy about Josh Allen? He's gotten to be underrated as a runner. He's such a threat with his legs. I would argue that only Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields are better as runners amongst the quarterbacks than Josh Allen. I would say he's the third biggest rushing threat from the quarterback position in the NFL. He accounted for over 35% of the Bills' rushing yards last season. He led the Bills in rushing in 9 games last season. I believe he also led them in rushing touchdowns. He is their ground game. And so that's why I think adding Damian Harris is going to help a lot, because it gives them another power runner, and you don't have to have Josh take all those hard hits and carry the ball 10 times a game, because it's always scary to see when he takes a big hit. And if you look at his passing numbers before his elbow injury, he was on pace for over 5,000 yards and over 40 touchdowns. I mean, he was just playing at a ridiculous level last season before he suffered an injury to his throwing elbow. Josh Allen, it's crazy how this is a hot take now. Josh Allen, I think, is still the second best quarterback in the NFL. He really is Josh Alien. I used to say that name sarcastically, but it's true. It is. Titans, Colts. Titans. Go Titans, I guess. They'll be pesky, frisky, hard-nosed. Ravens, Steelers. Talk about a great rivalry. This is the NFL's backyard brawl. Watching these games on Sunday Night Football growing up when I was 11, that's a quintessential football memory for me. Oh, these were some fun games. On one drive, you'd have Ray Lewis just absolutely deck a guy, and then the next drive, James Harrison would kill someone in retaliation. These are some football teams right here. I might try and watch this game if it doesn't overlap with this game. We'll go Steelers. In Pittsburgh? Renegade playing, terrible towels waving. We'll go with the Steelers. Look at that. Tightly packed North. Oh, this one should be fun too. The Nathaniel Hackett Bowl. Jets Broncos. If y'all haven't been keeping up with the news, Sean Payton said some pretty mean stuff about Nathaniel Hackett, calling it one of the worst head coaching jobs in NFL history. He just tore into him. I think the Jets will win this one. They're going to be ready for it. They're pissed off. Maybe it's Hard Knocks. Maybe it's the Kool-Aid or whatever. I think this could be a really fun year for the Jets. I just think they're such a good team. They finally got a quarterback. Everyone is so happy that Aaron Rodgers is there. And yes, we've seen stuff like this blow up before. The Eagles' dream team, Denver last year. But the Jets were good last year. You could clearly tell the Jets were just a quarterback away last year. And now they got one. It's on them now. Giants, Dolphins. They're starting to win some games. Ramsey will be back soon. This is a very talented team. We'll talk more about their pass rush later if we have time. Maybe that'll be its own thing, but I like Jalen Phillips a lot. That's what I'll say. If you watch my last stream, you'll know how I feel about him. Texans, Falcons. Man, the Texans haven't won a game yet, have they? And they're still not going to. Texans 0-5. Maybe that's a little harsh, but that's just how things are playing out right now. I like how that is the one thing that I always try and be careful about. We have a few extremes right now, just looking at the standings. We've got 1, 2, 3 undefeated teams, and we also have 1, 2, 3 4 teams that have not won a game. And granted, it's still early in the season, so this could happen. I'm not an oracle of truth or anything, but it's entertainment, That's what the sports industry is at the end of the day. It's an entertainment business. And I sure am an entertainer. I like to think. 7 of y'all are watching. Hey, this has been a very active stream. I gotta say, 7 of y'all consistently in here, active chat. This has been awesome. I am enamored with how this has turned out. We're on week 5, by the way. Oh, boy. Saints, Patriots. Patriots will win. They're just due for a win. Maybe That's a lame reason, but again, I've talked a lot about their defense. Matthew Judon, Christian Barmore. They drafted Keon Green. Jack Jones, as long as he's not like bringing guns to airports, he's a baller. That was a crazy story, by the way, but he is so good. He played like at a borderline Pro Bowl level last season. It is unbelievable how the Patriots just keep churning these corners out. And now they've got a talented one in Christian Gonzalez, too. Kyle Duggar is a dog. Here's my very slight teaser for my next video. Not the one coming out on Monday, but the one I'm going to make after that. The Patriots defense might play a big role in that video. Something that they do specifically. It's really exciting. Their defense is like the Niners on offense. That's what I'll say. Bengals, Cardinals. Man. Well, what do you think? Is the 4-0 Bengals, are they going to beat the 0-4 Cardinals? Yeah. Simple as that, bro. Low key, I want to go to this game. So I really like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I have a Mahomes jersey. I've loved watching him play ever since he came into the league, or I guess since he took over as starter. It's a love that borders on worship, but my Mahomes take is that he is underrated, which is just, I know it's wild for me to say, right? It's like, he's the best quarterback in the league. Like, you know, it is just incredible how much better he's gotten over the past, 2 years, though. Like, he's a straight-up assassin from the pocket now. We saw it in the playoffs. I say, if you take away Mahomes' legs, he's still elite. He won playoff games on, one leg. You know, he had, that injury against the Jaguars, and it didn't matter. The thing with the Chiefs is their wide receivers have more time to get open, and it's easier for them to get open than any other team. That's why they don't really invest in wide receivers. You know, they get rid of Tyreek. They let Juju go. They've pretty much said, we don't need wide receivers because you have Andy Reid cooking up plays, right? So he's already good enough at, getting guys open. And if they don't get open, Mahomes can just buy an extra 2.5 seconds. And, at that point, it's been, 5 seconds. Someone is going to be open. Their offense is beautiful, man. Again, it borders on worship how much I love Mahomes, but I would just love to see him play in person. This might sound crazy. I think he's the Messi of the NFL, and just that it's a mix of maybe the most talent we've ever seen in a player, and he wins everything. I don't know. Mahomes is the Messi of the NFL. There, I said it. It is just, Anyways, I sound like Chris Collinsworth gushing over him. I don't care. Maybe he's spitting. Packers, Raiders. We'll go Raiders for, I think a lot of these Raiders games. Also, this is Devontae revenge game. But Packers run defense versus Josh Jacobs. You know, ooh, I didn't even think about this. You know what we might see in this game? And this is on Monday night, so I'll be able to watch. Devontae Adams versus Jair Alexander. Oh, I'm going to make some popcorn for that one. That should be fun. That is going to be a great matchup. I'm actually excited for this game now. That's crazy. Bears, Commanders. We'll go Commanders. Why not? You know, the Commanders have a solid team in place. Yeah, Commanders. Sometimes that's all there is to say about these matchups. Sometimes I'll go really in depth. Sometimes it's, yeah, you know what? I like them today. Sometimes that's all you can do. Lions, Panthers. Oh, man, the Panthers are starting 1-4. Well, this is not exactly going how I expected, but Panthers are in the basement. Lions get another big win. They get revenge for the 300 yards the Panthers ran on them last time. They'll be ready this time for their rushing attack. Eagles, Rams, Eagles, Niners, Cowboys. Okay, so here's another trope, right? Past few years, sorry, I did that because my earbud was static. It was really loud. Past few years, Niners have owned the Cowboys. Yeah, I am going to go Dallas on the road, which is crazy. But even though they've beat them in the playoffs the last 2 years, both those games were close. Dallas was right there. Dallas brings in Brandon Cooks. Great move. They bring in Stephon Gilmore, who's not washed, by the way. Him and Trayvon Diggs is up there for best corner duo in the NFL. Micah Parsons, unbelievable. They draft Mozzie Smith, who's a beast. Their front four is loaded. Their secondary is great. Their wide receivers are great. I still think Dak is good. The one thing that scares me with the Cowboys is who's going to carry the ball besides Tony Pollard? Because I think Tony Pollard is a very exciting, explosive back, but he's not a guy that you want carrying the ball 250 times. And for as much flack as Zeke got, he actually did play a pretty important role on that team and being the power runner, doing the dirty work. And I look at their depth chart and it's like they have Deuce Vaughn. Like, he's not going to do it. I would like to see them maybe sign a running back before the season starts. I really thought they might have just brought Zeke back. Honestly, I probably would have, or at least tried to. I would like to see them add a power back. That's my biggest pause with the Cowboys. But as you can see, I'm very high on them. They're 5-0. Chiefs, Broncos, Chiefs on Thursday night in Arrowhead. Broncos starting to fade a little bit. Could happen. Ravens, Titans in London. And we're going to go with the Ravens of Baltimore. I think that they're just a superior club. Oh, boy. Colts, Jags. We'll go with the upset here. We're going to go with the Colts. I don't know. Could happen. Jags' run defense actually was pretty good last year, which is important because, Jonathan Taylor. But it's just one of those upsets. It'll happen. I promise. Josh McDaniels Bowl, Patriots Raiders. Also the rematch of the Jacoby Myers lateral. And now Jacoby Myers is on the other team. The storylines are never ending with this one. Patriots. Bill Belichick is not going to lose to Josh McDaniels again. Back in 2009, when McDaniels was the Broncos head coach, the Broncos actually got off to a 5-0 start that season. And this was McDaniels' first year as head coach, right? Doing it all on his own. And they beat the Patriots. I think that was their 5th win to go to 5-0. And oh man, he was just running all over the field, pumping his fist, like making a big show out of it. Bill is not going to let that happen again. There's just no way. Especially after the humiliation that happened last year. The Patriots will be ready for this game. This one should be fun too. I'll keep my eye on this one. Panthers, Dolphins. We're going to go Panthers here. Panthers pick up a much-needed win in Miami. Miami's sitting at 3-3 now. Again, offensive line questions, especially without Teron Armstead. Brian Burns could have a big game. Seahawks, Bengals. I'm going to have Seattle give Cincy their first loss on the year. Man, Seattle's 5-0. Those teams were both undefeated. That's crazy. Seahawks 5-0. I did not have that on my bingo card. I did not see that coming. That's just how it be. Niners, Browns. Niners. Niners moved to 4-2. That's legit. We'll give the Texans a win against the Saints at home. Sure. I mean, Dameon Pierce is good. He'll be fun to watch. Stroud we'll see how it turns out with questionable wide receivers. The defense actually looks solid, though, and I do like DeMeco Ryans a lot as a head coach. The defense is intriguing. Will Anderson, they gave up a lot to go get him. They also got Jimmy Ward, pretty good safety from the Niners. Eagles, Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets. This is crazy. So the Eagles' big weakness, in my opinion, is really up the middle. And that concerns me, especially against the run. Also, like with slot receivers and tight ends, Eagles lose their defensive coordinator. They lose 4 starters on defense. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is gone. Both their linebackers are gone. Javon Hargrave is gone. That's the spine of the defense, just gone. They do bring in Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis being healthy should help against the run. But I can see the Jets just picking apart that middle of the field. And, I have the Eagles at 5-1, just how the schedule has played out. But personally, I think the Eagles will regress slightly. Now, I think they're going to look very different as a team this year. I think on offense, they're going to run the ball even more, which is crazy because they did run the ball a fair amount last year. But, they let Miles Sanders go, but they bring in Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift. They still have Kenny Gainwell, who they love. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who's a great runner in his own right. Those are 4 guys that they can probably split the carries with. And especially with wanting to keep Hurts healthy, with Penny and Swift being injury prone. Like, if you kind of mix those 4 around a little bit, it keeps them more fresh. So I do think we'll see something like that, and maybe like A.J. Brown's numbers go down a little bit. The defense, I don't think will be as good as it was last year. Offense probably won't either. Losing Shane Steichen hurts. I really do feel like last season was the perfect storm for Philly. That being said, even with that in mind, they're still at 5-1 right now. So I just don't think they'll be as good of a team, if that makes sense. Brian Daboll versus his old team. Giants-Bills, Battle of New York, kind of. Only one of the teams is from New York, hardy har har. Bills 5-1. We've got some good division races going down right now. Chargers-Cowboys. On paper, right, the Cowboys should win this game. Maybe Kellen Moore has something up his sleeve. Again, Dallas, these teams are not going to win every game. So sometimes I look for something stupid like, oh, the old Cowboys offensive coordinator is going to have something up his sleeve for his old team. And it's not like the Chargers are bad. They made the playoffs last year. They won 10 games. Herbert's a good quarterback. Mike Williams is good when healthy. Austin Eckler just somehow keeps scoring touchdowns. Bosa, if he's healthy, he's good. Derwin James, obviously. They've got good players. They're not, bad. So I don't think that's unreasonable. They win Monday night coming off a bye at home. Yeah. Wild week for the NFC East. All their teams have lost so far. We're going to keep it going like that. Falcons beat the Commanders. Falcons now 3-3. Lions Bucks. Oh, the Battle of Cahayan. Lions versus Bucks. Gabe, how are you feeling about this game? It's also in Tampa, so you'll be working this. I'm curious, how are you feeling working against your favorite team, so to speak? I'm going to go Lions. Lions 4-2, that's fair. Vikings Bears. I will say, I feel like I've said my piece on a lot of these teams, so I'm just going to pick them for the most part. This is week 6, and we're almost 2 hours into this. I'm not going to speed run it yet, but we're going to just work our way through it. One of these teams is about to get their first win soon. Vikings, Bears. Soldier Field we just can't win at ever. Although recently we've actually played pretty well there. I'll go Vikings. Skull Vikings, baby. Bears are 1-5. I promise I'm not a hater. Hey, this is just how it's playing out. I don't know. I guess I control who wins, but I don't control the schedule. Cardinals, Rams. We'll go Rams. Rams probably aren't that bad. I mean, if Stafford is healthy, they should be watchable. Bills, Patriots. We'll go Patriots in Foxborough. Why not? Again, Patriots are one of those teams. I think if they're in the NFC, they're a playoff team. That defense is legit. I'm telling you. They're fun to watch. It'll be close. You want to talk about peak Bills hating too? I think between last year and the Patriots-Bills Monday night game, after those two things happened, it's I've done it. I don't need to do any more. I've done enough dunking, whatever. Stephon Diggs is going to whine no matter where he is. He's putting on a facade with saying how happy he was with the Bills. Maybe. I don't know. But the Patriots passed the ball 3 times that whole game, and they won. That was awesome. I was a big fan of that game. I still watch highlights of that game from time to time, unironically. Browns versus Colts. This was on the Immaculate Grid the other day. I put DeQuell Jackson, who was 2%. Shout out DeQuell Jackson. Led the NFL in tackles back in 2009, I believe. I'm going to look that up real quick. That's my talent, is I know league leaders from the 2009 NFL season. I'm pretty sure he led the league in tackles in 2009. No, it was... Wait. It was 2008. I'm a fraud. No. All right. I am off task, but I'm just genuinely curious. I'm going to see who led the NFL in tackles in 2009 real quick. Was it Patrick Willis? Sorry. I am actually genuinely curious. I love Pro Football Reference. See the shirt. But this is always a little hard to navigate sometimes. So I'm just going to... It was Patrick Willis. Okay. Barrett Root. I remember him. Anyways, we're off topic. But yeah, shout out Pro Football Reference. I love this shirt so much. I ordered it online like 2 months ago, month ago. I unironically love this shirt so much. This is one of my favorite shirts. I don't know. It's so sick. I love that site. Anyways, Browns versus Colts. Browns. Yeah, they're the better team. Colts offensive line has also like not been that good recently, which used to be like best in the NFL. So again, Browns front looking pretty good. The classic Chargers-Chiefs game where the Chargers will come really close and they might even take the lead in the final 3 minutes, but then the Chiefs will win. That's how it always goes, right? Jaguars-Saints, Jaguars. Lions-Ravens, Ravens. Raiders-Bears, Bears. We'll give the Bears another win. Both those teams are at 2-5 now. Steelers, Rams. I'll go Rams again. You know, the Rams will win a few games. I could see Kupp having a big game from the slot. I don't know off the top of my head who the Steelers slot corner is. So I could see Kupp cooking. Who knows, maybe Aaron Donald wakes up. He wasn't bad last year, but it wasn't up to his standards. Him getting a 99 in Madden was a sham. And I say this as someone that likes Aaron Donald. I would have given him like an 89 for his season last year. He was still good, but I'm sorry. Anyways, Packers, Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos. Again, run the ball, man. This is how the NFL has kind of shifted, and maybe it'll shift back to the passing game once teams start to beef up more again, but give me the Broncos. Super Bowl rematch, by the way. This one's for John. Dolphins, Eagles. Ooh. Is it crazy if I pick the Dolphins? No, because it's my stream. See, I hope that Tua can stay healthy. One, because he seems like a really good guy. And two, when Tua's out there and the offense is firing on all cylinders, it is awesome. I mean, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. You have Raheem Mostert. I think Jeff Wilson is on the the Dolphins too. Like Mike McDaniel just brought in like all the old Niners running backs. Yeah. But the pass rush of Philly against that Dolphins O-line. You know what? No take backsies. Sorry. That's a rule. No take backsies. I'm going to stick with my pick. I could see the Eagles winning, though. I mean, that's a reasonable take. Ooh, Falcons, Bucks. See, I think these teams split. We'll give the Bucks the home win. The Bucks are somehow leading the division right now. You know what's crazy, though? I could see this happening. This actually seems semi-realistic. It's starting to shape into more of a real-looking season now, I feel like. Seahawks are the only undefeated team left, which is crazy. I don't know that that's going to happen, but that's how it's happening right now. That is wild. Commanders, Giants. Giants are a better team. They're better coached. Ron Rivera has kind of fallen off as a coach a little bit. I don't know. The game seems like it's passed him by a little bit. He's getting up there. He kind of reminds me of like the final few years of Mike Zimmer a little bit, only a little less angry. Oh, man. Good old Mike. I hope he's doing well. He's like with Deion Sanders at Colorado, I think, which that's an unlikely pairing, but good for Zimmer. I've always liked Zimmer for as much as I criticized him at the end. He will forever, like, this might sound crazy to any older people watching this, like if my dad goes and watches this later, but I think he'll understand with context. Mike Zimmer is like my Bud Grant. Obviously, he didn't quite reach the status of Bud Grant, but for me, like, Zimmer is the coach I grew up with, you know. he embodied the Vikings very well. I will always respect Mike Zimmer. I hope he comes into our Ring of Honor one day. There's a spot welcome for you in Minnesota, Mike. We love you. Good old Mike. So true. I loved him. It was time for him to go, but I loved him. I do like KOC too, though. He did a good job year one. Call us frauds or lucky or whatever, but KOC did a pretty good job coaching. I'd like to see him clean up the play calling a little bit. He got a little too cute, like on 4th down. It's like, hey, we're going to have Dalvin do a jump pass at the goal line. He's going to fumble. But the players never quit on him. I mean, we came back from, down 33-0? So, nah, he's a good coach. I like KOC. Cardinals and Seahawks. Man, the Cardinals still haven't won a game, and the Seahawks still haven't lost. That's how it's playing out. Niners, Vikings. Ooh, on Monday night. Should I stream for the Vikings primetime games? We'll see. Yeah, they're not winning this one either. I'm sorry. Kyle Shanahan is going to be like, oh, Kirk, I want you. Kyle Shanahan loves Kirk Cousins. Hey, if you want him, take him. How about, hey, Niners, we'll give you Kirk Cousins for Fred Warner. How does that sound? Does that sound fair? All right, sweet. Jaguars, Steelers? Pittsburgh. Give me Pittsburgh at home. It'll be a close one, but Pittsburgh could, good, tough-nosed defense, gritty win. Dolphins. See, Patriots can't win in Miami. Dolphins win again. Now this is starting to heat up a little bit, you know. Patriots are still there, but Chiefs, Broncos, in Denver, but that's not enough for me to pick against the Chiefs. They're rolling at this point. Bucks, Bills on Thursday night. Give me the Bills. I don't know. They should win that one. Panthers, Texans. Panthers. See, I don't think the Panthers are starting to come back a little bit. Back when they had like one win, when they were like 1-4, it's like I don't think they're that bad of a team. Oh, the Snoopy Bowl. That's right. That's actually a thing. That's what this matchup is called. It's called the Snoopy Bowl because of MetLife. You know, they both play at MetLife. Snoopy is a MetLife thing for corporate reasons, I guess. They play for the Snoopy Trophy. That's what it is. The Giants are going to win the Snoopy Trophy. I don't know. I guess they're home. It doesn't really matter. Giants D-line versus Jets offensive line. That might be the matchup right there. You want to talk about good players. Dexter Lawrence, all pro in my book. I think I would put only Chris Jones above Dexter Lawrence for interior defensive lineman. He is ridiculous. He owned the Vikings in the playoffs. He owned us. He is so good. He's one of the best players in the league. Absolutely. Saints Colts, another Super Bowl rematch. This is like the first Super Bowl I watched where I knew what was going on, actually. I was rooting for the Colts. I was so mad that the Saints beat the Vikings the week before. That was even before Bounty Gate came out and stuff. Oh, I was so mad. And also my next door neighbor and my best friend at the time was also a big Colts fan. We were so mad when the Saints won. we were livid. We were ticked. The Saints will win this time too, on the road, on rest. Falcons, Titans. Arthur Smith is going to cook against his old team. Look for another big Bijan game. I also like Drake London. Like I've really only talked about like Bijan with the Falcons. I think Drake London was pretty good. Kyle Pitts is obviously very talented. Someone just needs to get him the darn ball. I also am a big fan of the Jonnu Smith acquisition. I think we'll see a lot more 12 personnel, 2 tight ends out there. Maybe even like Pitts out wide or in the slot, you know? Get a little weird with it, Arthur. Falcons football. I do love their brand of football on offense. On defense, they don't really have a brand unless it's just not sacking the quarterback. Oh, that was mean, but kind of funny. So, Browns, Seahawks. Seahawks will get their first loss here. Cleveland is like a pretty good team. They're another team that might make the playoffs in the NFC. I say that about like a lot of teams, but Drake seems pretty solid. Oh, Drake London. I was like, Drake, the rapper? Oh. But yeah, the Browns will upset the Seahawks here. I mean, the Seahawks probably are the better team on paper, but they're due for a loss at some point. I don't know. The Browns, Chubb could go off. Amari Cooper, him versus Tariq Woolen should be good. Ravens and Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals ain't getting their first win just yet. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Honestly, them being 0-8 might actually happen. That is actually somewhat realistic. Yeah. Also, honestly, if you're a Cardinals fan right now, you're thrilled seeing this. Because if the season were to end right now, the Cardinals would have the top 2 picks in the draft. That would be crazy. Will that happen? I'm not sure. But if you're a Cardinals fan, you're probably like applauding right now. You're like standing up applauding. You would love for this to happen. Cardinals might be interesting in a few years. Give them some time. If they hit their picks, they could be cooking. Ooh, Bengals-Niners. This was my Super Bowl prediction for the postseason last year. This wasn't my preseason pick. Full disclosure, I actually had the Ravens winning the Super Bowl last year. That didn't quite work out. But when I made my playoff bracket, like once the playoffs started, this was the matchup I had. And ironically, both those teams lost in the championship game. So I was close, but neither of them made it. Ooh. We're going to go with the Niners here at home. Give the Bengals another loss. I think people sleep on the Niners adding Javon Hargrave. Like, it's kind of crazy that one of the best D-lines in the NFL got better. And we just are somehow going about our day. Like, yeah. Bears, Chargers. I mean, Chargers win. They have a clear advantage at quarterback. They'll put up some points on this porous Bears defense. It's in SoFi, which helps too. If this matchup was like reversed, if it was in Chicago in like December, I might pick the Bears. But since it's an October game in LA, give me the Chargers. Not to say that these teams are like equal, but just like, circumstantial stuff. You have to think about that sometimes. Obviously, I think the Chargers are a better team than the Bears, but Raiders-Lions on Monday night. Okay. So my gut says Lions. I'm going to trust my gut. I guess you could say, the run defense isn't that great for the Lions on that day. That really might be the Raiders' biggest path to winning is just Josh Jacobs. And I guess, I talked about how good their pass catchers are, and Jimmy is solid, but, they might have a few random games where they go off. But for the most part, I feel like they're going to be hovering around, the 20s for points scored. Eagles-Commanders in Washington. The Commanders won't do it again. They won't upset them again. Vikings, Packers, and Lambeau. Oh, I was just gushing about this game, even though we got the doors blown off. I'll go Vikings. Yeah, no take-backsies. No take-backsies. Skull Vikings. We're going to win in Lambeau. Screw it, because I say so. I decided we're going to win that game. I am a fan. Come at me. Rams, Cowboys. Cowboys keep on cooking. Which I think they might cook this year. I really do. Hey, we're about halfway through the season now. We get to the Germany game. There probably 7 of the 8 people in the stream right now don't know what the heck just happened. But if you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. The Germany game. The good old Germany game. They're what is this Donald Duck sounding goofy man doing? But we have fun on here. Titans Steelers. This is extremely random. I don't know how I know this. I'm going to look it up just to double check. But I believe that this was a matchup on Christmas Day in 2008. It's either 2008 or 2007. But I know they played on Christmas Day in Tennessee, I'm pretty sure. Was it 2007? I swear. Titans Steelers Christmas Day. I'm not crazy. Maybe I am. No, was I wrong? I swear. Oh, that's terrible for the brand. All right, I guess I was wrong. They played in December that year. Dang, okay. I don't know why I thought that. Anyways, sorry, sidetracked again. I would have been flexing so hard right now if I was right about that. I guess not, but we'll go Steelers at home again. Steelers 5-3. See, Jack, if you're still in here, I'm respecting your man, Kenny. Kenny Pickett. All right, now we get to the Germany game. So here's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry. Why? Like, okay. First of all, I just want to say, like, respect to Germany, right? I think it's awesome that you guys get a good game. The Germany game last year was electric. The atmosphere was awesome. The fans turned out. The crowd was loud. They were all singing John Denver Country Roads at the end. It was really cool. Like, I was really impressed with the turnout for the Germany game. With that being said, why would you have Tyreek Hill's return to Arrowhead and move it to Germany? Why would you do that? Why? I don't know. Like, just give Germany another good game instead. Like, I don't know. Give them... Well, okay, they probably wouldn't do that because then, like, fans of these two teams would be mad. You know what I mean, though? Give them, like, Jets Chargers. Like, why would you do that? Anyways, it's frustrating. I'm going to go Chiefs, though. Mahomes puts on a show in Germany. Here's another game I'm excited for. Oh, man. So, I mean, you all know the story of this game. Monday Night Football last year, the Damar Hamlin situation goes down. And then they play again in the playoffs. A lot of mutual respect between these two teams, but also a bit of, like, chippiness with, like, you know, the whole, like, neutral site games and stuff. You know, Burrow saying, like, better start sending out those refunds. There's a little bit of a juice to this rivalry. Not as much as the Bengals-Chiefs rivalry, but, like, it's a fun matchup. In Cincy, the reworked Bills are better built for games like this now, but I'm still going to go the Bengals. I don't know. You want to talk about aura. Joe Burrow has aura. Aura, it factor, dog in him, whatever you call it. People can clown me all they want for the take. It is a real thing. I'm sorry. And that is like one of my dream projects is like one day, like if I have the resources, I want to make like a giant documentary. Like I'll interview like a bunch of sports psychologists and like quarterbacks and stuff. Just like a deep dive into like the it factor. Because it is a real thing. It really is. Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. But for whatever, like the Bengals just keep winning these games. They do. I don't know. Good old intangibles. Jack says, let's go. Jack's still in here. Let's go, man. Yeah, see, look at you. Steelers are 5-3. I say your Steelers. Jack is a Vikings fan, but he is a Steelers football enjoyer and a Kenny Pickett enjoyer. I respect the Steelers. Classic organization. Jets Chargers now. We're going to pick the Jets again. Yeah, no take-backsies. I love saying that. Patriots over the Commanders. I think they're the better team. They're also at home. They're starting to warm up a little bit. The Cardinals get their first win because I say so. Yay! They do it. I don't know. It could happen. The first thing that comes to the mind with this matchup is when the Cardinals were undefeated to start the season out a few years ago. I think it was 2 years. And there was that clip of like J.J. Watt like, maybe we're just that good. That was this game, I'm pretty sure. Colt McCoy gets a win against the Browns. That's what we're going to go with. Let's go Colt McCoy. Seahawks, Ravens. Ravens. I think the Ravens are a better team than the Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks are off to a great start right now, but again, new offensive coordinator, much improved as far as wide receivers go. Can Lamar please just stay healthy? to the football gods. Can Lamar play a full season this year? I just want to see it. Like, just as a football fan and just like for pure football science purposes, I want to see Lamar in a more open offense with good receivers. I just want to see 1 year of it and see what happens. Please. Also, their defense is elite. So this is a really good team. Bucks, Texans. We'll go Texans. You know, I mean, the Bucks, I've been hyping them up, but they're not like a juggernaut. These two teams are close-ish. I think the Bucks are better, but crazy stuff happens. Texans win this one. This is a game that, like, you look at the Texans and you're like, you know what? They win this game. Good for them. Colts, Panthers. Panthers keep pounding. They're coming. Uh-oh, look at that. They're coming. 3 teams are 4-4, and the other is 3-5 in the South. I'm going to scroll down so you guys can see it, actually, because I'm blocking it. But look at that. Look at the NFC South. Tightly packed. Giants, Raiders. Probably Giants, right? Yeah. Ooh, the Raiders might not win too many games. We'll see. Ooh, here we go. This is a game that I hope to go to. Vikings versus Falcons. Oh, boy. I'm going to take a swig of water before we go into this one. There's one other weakness on this Vikings team that actually kind of concerns me. And it's their defense against the run. Losing Dalvin Tomlinson is a big deal for the Vikings. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. Most people are talking about how Big Z is gone, Pat Pete, Duke Shelley. And yeah, obviously that hurts. No Dalvin Tomlinson is a big deal. Just the role that he plays on this defense as a space eater, how good he is against the run, and the fact that we weren't the greatest against the run last year, right? Brian Asamoah is probably going to come in and start at linebacker. He's very small and undersized. You know, a lot of potential in coverage, but could get bullied in the run game. I think Bijan might go off in this game. And again, like, oh, man. I don't know. I was talking with some Falcons fans about a month ago about this game, and they're all just like, you know, like Justin Jefferson's going to do something crazy. They all just pretty much like accepted like, oh, the Vikings will win this game. I'm not so sure. I don't know. The Vikings are a weird team where if the Vikings go up against a team that like matches up well against them, it's an uphill battle. I will say Kirk should be clean in this game, which helps because, you know, that pass rush. I mean, I've made fun of them enough. But even that, like the Falcons are also pretty good up the middle. They bring in Calais Campbell, David Onyemata. They have Grady Jarrett. Oh my gosh, the Falcons are going to win this game. Oh no. Oh boy. They could get some pressure on Kirk up the middle. Oh. Vikings are 4-5 right now. That's fairish. That's fair enough, I feel like. Oh man. I will try and be at this game, though. You know, it's not every day being in Georgia that I can see the Vikings play, so I will probably show up. I've also never been to a football game at Mercedes-Benz, so that'll be cool, too. I'm going to be loud. Don't worry. Bears, Saints. I'm really sorry, Vikings fans. I know I'm not picking my team every time, but I'm being realistic. Hey, they're still there, though. They're hanging around. It's the NFC. They have a shot. Bears, Saints, Bears. I don't know. Justin Fields does something cool. Bears do have a good rushing attack. DJ Moore helps at wide receiver. Their wide receiver core should be better. Cole Kmet. Offensive line does scare me. Saints pass rush isn't crazy, though. Give me the Bears. Rams, Packers. Packers at 2-5 is shocking. I don't think the Packers are that bad of a team. I mean, I was talking about it earlier, you know. Here's a fun one. Eagles, Cowboys. So if you watched my last stream, you might remember me saying one of my hot takes is that the Cowboys win the division. And I gave a lot of reasons why. You know, the Eagles, they lose a bunch of starters. They've also lose both coordinators. Last year just kind of felt like a perfect storm. The Cowboys, they address some big needs. You know, they get a corner opposite of Diggs. They bring in another wide receiver in Brandon Cooks. Dak should be better. Like, I just don't think he's going to turn the ball over that much again. And, when these two teams played last year, they were actually, like, pretty even. So they split, right? Philly won in Philly, and Dallas won in Dallas. Philly won the game that Dallas didn't have their QB, and Dallas won the game that Philly didn't have their QB. And both games were close. So between that and the fact that the Cowboys also like won 12 games last year, like they were just a very good team in their own right. These two teams are a lot closer than people think to begin with. Like even last year, I think they were actually fairly close. I will have Philly win in Philly, but I think they're going to split. Dallas will win in Dallas. Those two teams, I think they're pretty even, to be honest. And I just think Dallas got better and Philly got worse. That's the basis of my take. Obviously, Philly's still doing very well for themselves. I'm not saying they're going to win like 8 games, but I think they'll be a wild card team. That's one of my spicy takes. Losing Shane Steichen is big. I've said that already, but I can't stress it enough. Ravens, Browns. Browns. Ooh, yeah, Browns will win. I just said like Browns a few times, and then I was like, sure, they'll win. Texans, Bengals. Rex Burkhead combination moment. Rex Burkhead also played for the Patriots. Anyways, enough about Rex Burkhead. Bengals win. I mean, they beat the Texans. Come on now. I don't know if you all can hear that car zooming outside. There's a few loud cars in my parking lot. Maybe not. I have my AirPods in, but Jets, Raiders. Jets win. Broncos, Bills. Almost went Broncos upset, but not in Buffalo. Some good teams on a bye here. Niners, Jags. Give me the Jags. Give me the Jags at home over the Niners. Trevor Lawrence, big-time game against the Niners D. Book it. Man, 8 of y'all still in here. Shout out to the 8 of you guys. We've been going over 2 hours strong. And, man, we're about halfway through the regular season. Playoffs will be a little bit quicker because obviously there's just fewer games to pick, but we're cooking. I think we'll do the Super Bowl and then we'll call it a night. I had something else planned, but that'll be its own thing because this has been awesome just doing this on its own. It is that time of year, folks. We are less than a month away from the season starting. It's electric. Titans, Bucks. Bucks in Tampa. Raise the flag, as they've been saying in the chat. Raise the flags, fire the cannons. Arr, the Buccaneers are going to beat the Titans in week 10. Also, I just didn't pick the Germany game. So I'm going to pick the Germany game real quick. We'll go Patriots, Germany. It's not even a German accent. I don't know why that was just my Germany voice, but it was. You just had to be there. Packers, Steelers, also known as the Mike Wallace game-winning touchdown catch. Back in 2009. I remember watching that game at Granite City, actually, which is a sit-down restaurant in Fargo, North Dakota. Fun fact about the Packers-Steelers matchup. I saw Mike Wallace catch a game-winning touchdown in 2009. Or was it 2010? No, I think it was 2009. But give me the Packers. Jordan Love feeling a little more comfortable now, They got the run game going with Jones and Dillon. Christian Watson. Give me the Packers. Also, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. Very intriguing. I like Tucker Kraft a lot. You know me. I'm an FCS guy. Tucker Kraft is good at football. He's a very Packers player. Lions, Chargers. Lions. Oh, yeah. David Montgomery chewing up yards against the Chargers defense. Chargers 3-6. That's a little disappointing. That's a little lower than I would have anticipated, but we'll see. Panthers, Bears. DJ Moore against his old team on Thursday nights. Panthers. Roar. Keep pounding. Oh, here's one. Vikings, Saints in Minneapolis. Oh, what a special matchup. Also a cursed matchup, but I'm going to choose to remember the good game from this. Good games, actually, 2 of them. We don't talk about 2009. We talk about 2017 and 2019, and we're going to talk about 2023. We just keep doing it, man. We just keep beating the Saints. I don't know. At home, the fans are going to be ready for this one, I will say. U.S. Bank this might be the loudest U.S. Bank gets this whole season, this game. We'll see. The fans will be up and ready for this one. Falcons, Cardinals. I already gave the Cardinals their pity win. Falcons at 6-4 now. Hey, Falcons fans in the chat, rise up, if you know what I'm saying. Y'all are 6-4. Y'all are leading the division as we're in week 10. Honestly, better than I thought it was going to be. Cowboys over Giants. Is that the Sunday night game? No, I mean the week 1 matchup is. Wouldn't shock me if they force this one at a prime time too, but you know. Commanders, Seahawks. We'll go Commanders in an upset. I don't know, maybe at this point Jacoby Brissett is playing. You want to talk about, so the Seahawks, you might think, oh, like the Seahawks trio of receivers, they're great. Don't sleep on the Commanders receivers either. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. That's actually pretty good. Obviously, Terry, borderline top 10 in my opinion, extremely talented. Give him a quarterback, please. Jahan Dotson was low-key one of the best rookie receivers last season. He wasn't quite at the level of Olave and Wilson, and he did get hurt, but he was really, really good when he played. I liked a lot of what I saw from Jahan Dotson. Here's a fun Thursday night matchup. Ravens-Bengals in Baltimore at the bank. Give me the Ravens. Raiders-Dolphins. We'll go Dolphins. Week 11 now. We're getting close to Thanksgiving. I think next week would be Thanksgiving. Steelers-Browns. These two teams are both 5-4. Wow. We'll go Steelers. I don't know. They just have that edge over the Browns. Mike Tomlin, good coach. Well-run team. They win these are the kind of games that the Steelers find a way to win. It might be ugly, but they'll grind it out. Jags over Titans. I feel like the Titans could steal a game off the Jags, but we'll see. Again, the Titans are no slouches. They almost won the division. I'm actually shocked they're down at 2-8, to be honest. That probably won't happen in real life, but I feel like my playoff teams will be fairly realistic. The actual win and loss numbers, some of them are going to age poorly, but my goal is to have a good order of the teams and good playoff picks, Okay, so Jets Bills. I said I was going to have them split. Yeah, Buffalo will win in Buffalo. That's a big one. They take the division lead. That's a big one. Oh, boy. Oh, are the Cardinals even going to want to win this game? They own Houston's first-round pick. Wait, how would that? I guess they're fine either way. They probably want to tie, if anything. I mean, these are all professional athletes. They're competitors. They're not going to try and lose. We'll give the Cardinals another win. Kyler, technically, medically speaking, could be back by this point. If I'm the Cardinals, do I even want him out there? I don't know. Maybe to help boost his trade value if you want to trade him, but I don't see there being much to gain playing Kyler, to be honest. Chargers, Packers. Man. Am I going to have the Chargers lose again? No, not this time. Herbert will have a good game. There'll be games where Herbert just plays well and they'll put up enough points to win. It happens. Vikings, Broncos. In Denver. Oh, man. I'm going to go Denver. I am. It's crazy. The Vikings have a tough schedule to begin with, and they just do not match up well with a lot of these teams. And maybe I'm overthinking, and maybe I'm being too pessimistic with the Vikings, but also 5-6 at this point in the year seems fair. I feel like they'll be around that 500 mark. So they're around where I expect them to be. Eagles, Chiefs. Here's a good one. And it's on Monday Night Football too. Again, Monday Night Football. Some banger matchups. So there's been a lot of dialogue over this matchup. It's the Super Bowl rematch. If you guys are chronically on Twitter like me, you've been probably seeing a lot of the Eagles players complaining about the turf, right? The grass. Sorry, the grass, not the turf. The sod father. And they're like, man, the grass just isn't good. That hurt our pass rush. Yeah, it's kind of funny, that you play on the same field as the other team. All I'm going to say is the Eagles better get 20 sacks this game for how much they've been complaining about that. They better go off. They better win this game. Unfortunately, they won't. I am mean sometimes, but you know what? It's entertainment. Nah, it's in Arrowhead too. I mean, come on. And again, I talk about the weakness of the spine of this Eagles defense, right? The Chiefs ran the ball very well against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Now you take away their linebackers, you take away Javon Hargrave, and I just can't help but think that Travis Kelce is going to go nuclear in this game against his brother with a very favorable matchup. And he's just one of those, again, like, he just plays well when the lights are bright. I could see Travis Kelce going nuclear this game, and the Chiefs win. And Arrowhead is going to be a rockin'. Bears-Lions. Good old-fashioned matchup. Bears-Lions. We'll go Bears. Bears win in Detroit. You know, every once in a while, this again, sometimes I'm mean, and I know I have a few Lions fans watching right now. Sometimes the Lions are just going to lion, and like they'll maybe lose a game that they should have won, Hey, I've got the Vikings losing a bunch of games that, like, on paper, maybe they should win. So I know exactly how it feels, but Lions will lie in this game. Bears get a win. Cowboys, Panthers. Cowboys. Yeah. I almost picked the Panthers, but I couldn't quite do it. I just can't quite do it. Giants, Commanders. Commanders. Why not? They'll get another win. These games are always close, it seems like. This is very weird and random, but I feel like Giants Commanders is always like one of those matchups where like you're watching the 1 o'clock games and then the game you're watching ends early and then they take you to bonus coverage. This is like a classic bonus coverage matchup. Like I can just picture now like Kurt Benefit like saying like, we will now take you over to Landover, Maryland for bonus coverage of Commanders Giants. And the game is like tied with like 2 minutes left, something like that. Like, I don't know. The very bonus coverage energy matchup. Division rivalry, they're always close. Buccaneers, Niners. The Niners are just, better. They're better. They're better at football. Dr. Pigskin. Someone hire me. Seahawks versus Rams. Rams upset. Yeah. In SoFi. Cooper Cup. Week 12. We're making progress. I think we finally made it to Thanksgiving. We have. See, the light is at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to take another big gulp. This will be my longest stream yet. This will probably go over 3 hours. Again, seriously, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I've had a ball doing this. I hope you guys have been enjoying this too. Don't worry. We will see my Super Bowl pick that we teased at the beginning. Remember, I do have a team in mind to pick to win the Super Bowl. And it might shock you. But I think I have my official Super Bowl pick for this year. So stay till the end for that. I always wonder what my neighbors think. I don't know if they can hear me or not. They're like, man, is that man with the microphone at it again? Well, they have a dog that clomps all over. I say I like the dog. I've never met the dog, but anyways, Jets, Dolphins. We'll go Jets at home. Man, it's neck and neck between these two teams, which I actually see happening. Like, I could very well see this being these two teams' records come week 12, 8-3, both of them. I could see it. I think that's reasonable. Steelers, Bengals. Bengals. Bengals at home. Steelers do play the Bengals well, but Bengals, sometimes they rise above. Jags over Texans. Browns, Broncos. We'll go Denver. Why not? Give me Denver. Chiefs, Raiders. How much do I really need to talk about this one? Mahomes might throw for 500 yards. We'll go Chargers with an upset over the Ravens, though. I don't know. I can see it. Baltimore, for as good as their defense is, outside of Marlon Humphrey, their corners are shake. They did add Rock Ya-Sin. No take-backsies, though. So, I don't know. On paper, maybe that's a dumb pick. But again, weird stuff happens, so I'm accounting for that. That's how I'm going to write it off. And again, no take-backsies. That is the motto of this stream. No take-backsies. Giants versus Patriots. Well, bro, I've been streaming for so long that my AirPods just died. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. I don't think it affects anything. I'm going to turn up the volume real quick on my phone. I'm assuming since no one is saying anything. Well, actually, I mean, I don't think the stream is caught up yet. But yeah, my AirPods have died. And I was charging them before we went. So that's how long we've been going. But again, I mean, we've got 9 people in here now. We're popping. Oh, yeah. Y'all can still hear me just fine. That's good. I know I had like technical difficulties the first time I ever streamed. And I had my AirPods in. It was weird. I don't know. But we're chilling. I can turn myself down now so we don't have to hear me twice as much. But we'll go with the Patriots on the road over the Giants. Defensive masterclass by Bill. You know, the Giants O-line, it's very hit or miss. Andrew Thomas has blossomed into an all-pro level player. Evan Neal was pretty disappointing, though. They did draft John Michael Schmitz, who I like. Minnesota man. But I could see the Patriots getting after the quarterback a little bit. Bucks, Colts. Give me the Bucks. Bucks are hanging in there, you know. Again, they're not a bad team. They just are not. Everyone's saying they can hear me? Perfect. Perfect. We're going to keep on cooking. Panthers, Titans. Man, I have the Titans losing so many games. They're going to win. They have to win some, right? And then this is a game that they can win. It's at home. Derrick Henry might get his like yearly random 200-yard game, even though that usually comes against like the Texans. Here's a good game. Bills-Eagles. I'm going to go with the Bills in Philly. Again, I think last year this is a game that the Bills would have absolutely lost, but with the moves they've made, beefing up on offense and defense, I think they are trying to win these games now too. And they still have Allen and Diggs. I haven't even talked about Dalton Kincaid yet. He's not much of a blocker, but you run him and Knox out there, you get some matchup problems, especially against this Eagles team that just unproven linebackers, unproven safeties. That's a big deal. Yeah, I feel pretty good about the Bills winning this one on the road. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about with Philly. They're just a little weaker now. You can exploit them. They're 7. I mean, they didn't lose 7 games all last year, I don't think. 7-4 is still very good, though. Again, not saying the Eagles are going to topple over, but I don't think I'm crazy for saying that they won't win 15 or 14, however many games it was, again. Lions, Packers at home for Detroit. The Lions will win. Commanders, Cowboys. Commanders with the upset. Philly's like, yes, we're still only a game back now. That's big. This is a classic rivalry. This goes way back. Obviously, bit of a gap in talent now, but back then it was a thing. Want to talk about good rivalries? Oh, I suppose these are the Thanksgiving games. Yeah, Lions will win on Thanksgiving. Cowboys lose on Thanksgiving. Cue the social media meltdowns. And then the night game. This one's pretty fun. Seahawks, Niners. Seahawks in Seattle. Man, Seahawks and Niners neck and neck for the division. Okay. I like it. Bring it on. That'll be fun. Falcons, Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints. I really am. Oh, man. We'll see how the Falcons fans react to this, but I am going to go with the Saints in Atlanta even. I don't know. They have the advantage at quarterback. They have the advantage just pretty much all across the entire defense. They also have better wide receivers. Falcons have a better O-line and better running game, but the Saints are better at everything else. I'm sorry. That's just how I see it. It's not as simple as that, I get, but, Rams will beat the Cardinals. Cardinals are now 2-10. Rams are 4-7, about expected, I would say. And the Vikings will beat the Bears. Hey, the Vikings are in a wild card spot. Let's go. Let's go. I just want playoff football again. Christine says boo. Oh, probably because Falcons losing. I don't know. You tell me, Christine. But aren't you happy? Juwan wins, you win either way. All right. Week 13. Let's go, baby. Woo! I had a lot of coffee this morning. I only really drink coffee in the morning because I don't want to be a goblin at night, but y'all got to see the new mug. I would say I got it. Christine was actually kind enough to buy it for me in Savannah. We went on a trip to Savannah last weekend, which was a lot of fun. And I got a pretty sweet coffee mug from Urban Outfitters that I'll need to show. I plan on making its debut for my morning streams during the season, but it's awesome. I love it. Thank you again, Christine. All right, week 13. Chargers, Patriots. Patriots win. Oh, the Patriots are in a playoff spot now. Oh, again, Patriots, tough matchup for the Chargers. It's also in Foxborough, getting colder. Something tells me the team from LA might not like a Foxborough cold, crisp day in the winter. Yeah, it's like December now. December football in Foxborough. I love it. Colts, Titans. They're just the better team. Broncos, Texans. Same thing for the Broncos. Here's a good one. Oh, this is a game I've actually had circled for a while. Bengals, Jaguars. Battles of the big cats. If you remember from Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, this would have been 2 years ago, these two teams played on Thursday Night Football, and it was an awesome game. And that game was really big for me as a Trevor Lawrence truther, which I know is crazy to say. Like, he was the first overall pick, most hype prospect since Andrew Luck or maybe even Peyton Manning. But his rookie year was rough, and a lot of people are like, man, maybe he's just not good. Like, it didn't look pretty. But even back then, man, I stuck with him. I remember watching that game and just Lawrence was so good and so was Burrow. And I remember thinking like, man, wouldn't that be fun if this is the future of the league? And now it's here. This is a great matchup. Oh, I'm going to go Primetime Joe, but that's tough. I am going to go Primetime Joe, though. How can you say no to Primetime Joe? Fun fact about Joe Burrow. I feel like most of the people in here know this. Believe it or not, Joe Burrow and me, yes, me, went to the same elementary school. We never overlapped, obviously. He's a little bit older than me. But we had the same second grade teacher, Mrs. Carrier, at Centennial Elementary in Fargo, North Dakota. Back then, Joe Burrow's dad was a coach over at North Dakota State, so they lived in Fargo for a few years. And Joe Burrow went to the same elementary school that I did. It is one of the most random things ever, but it's true. Go look up Joe Burrow Centennial Elementary School. I'm serious. This isn't like one of like the things where it's like, go look up Micah Parsons' Penn State locker room or something. Like, no, this is actually like a thing. All right. Dolphins, Commanders. Dolphins. We're starting to heat up a little bit. Fargo. Oh, yeah, don't you know? You betcha. Good old Fargo. Cardinals, Steelers. Another Super Bowl rematch. Steelers. Jets over Falcons. Feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Browns over Rams. I can dig that. Chiefs, Packers. Gotta be the Chiefs, right? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be the Chiefs. That's what it's gotta be. It's the Chiefs. I'm losing a little bit. Not actually, but Seahawks, Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys. The Cowboys keep it cooking. It's also in Dallas. Again, this defense, I'm telling you, if you made me pick who is going to have the best defense in the NFL, like who's going to allow the fewest points this season, I think my pick might be Dallas. I think they might have the best defense in the NFL. They are loaded. And they're so well coached. Say what you want about Dan Quinn as a head coach. As a defensive coordinator, he's right at home. He's an amazing defensive coordinator. He's done a great job there. Dallas wins on Thursday night. Yeah. Panthers, Bucks. We'll go Panthers. I think the Panthers are still slightly better than the Bucks. I like their quarterback a lot more. Bryce Young, they don't have a lot of good receivers. But the way Bryce Young operates, he's good at buying time. Again, it's not quite to the level of Mahomes, obviously. But when you can buy time, you give your receivers an extra second to get open. And, for as much as people have said, like, Thielen is washed, and it's true, like, he's certainly lost a step, not to use like the classic white receiver stereotypes, but he still is like a crafty technician. And I think he and Bryce Young might actually be a pretty good link up this year. I feel like Bryce is just such a good, smart quarterback too. He's so good at processing, reading defenses. Thielen, the crafty vet's going to know how to get open. If Bryce buys an extra second, Thielen will find the space. So even though like I don't think like they're going to light the world on fire, for as much concern as there is over the Panthers receivers, Bryce Young's game is kind of built to work around that just a little bit. Not quite to the extent of Mahomes, but, you know. And maybe like Jonathan Mingo, their second round pick, steps up a little bit too. So there's a vision. And again, I love this Panthers defense. I love their running game. 6-6. Honestly, I'm surprised I don't have like one or two more wins for them. I am pretty high on the Panthers. Lions Saints in New Orleans. You know what? Let's just have 3 6-6 teams in the South. Why not? Lions are at 7-5. Uh-oh, Vikings catching up. I don't think they're going to catch them. Speaking of Vikings-Lions, I teased this earlier. I have some words to say about the competition between these two teams. We'll get there when we get there. Oh, here's another salt bowl. Okay, so the Niners, I talked about how the Eagles were salty over the Super Bowl. The Niners were a little salty over their loss to Philly. See, nah, I'm not going to have the Niners beat Philly in Philly, right? No, I'm not. It's going to be close. Here's a hot take, too, before I move on to next week, just to talk about this matchup a little bit more. Last season, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt, I think the Niners might have won that game in the NFC Championship game. If you go back and watch that game, like, don't let the final score fool you. The Niners were in that game for, like, the first 3 quarters. Their defense was balling out, keeping them in the game. And I remember watching and thinking, like, man, you know, like, they're just, like, a score on this drive away from really getting back into it. And they had Josh Johnson, so they won't score, but I think Philly wins in Philly. They're going to be ticked off for that game. Both teams are fairly evenly matched as far as talent goes, I feel. Week 14. We're almost there, I promise. Thank you all so much for bearing with me. Steelers, Patriots on Thursday nights. Oh my goodness, the Patriots are climbing back in. What have we done? Jaguars, Browns, Jags. All right. Texans, Jets, Colts, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, Bills. See what I did there? Maybe a little bit of a shocker. I'm going to go with the Bills over the Chiefs. Look at this. 4 teams at 10-3 in the AFC. That just shows how loaded they are. Oh, the AFC is going to be a movie. It's going to be awesome. Broncos, Chargers, Broncos. There, I said it. Broncos have a winning record. Oh, my goodness. Titans, Dolphins. We'll go Dolphins. They get a big win on Monday night to stay in the playoff hunt. They needed that one. Dolphins pass rush might go off. I've talked about Jalen Phillips before. Jalen Phillips, man. Hey, if you're a betting man, go look at Jalen Phillips' props and lines, whatever you call them. I believe the hype. I don't know. I've been on the Jalen Phillips train for 2 years now. Get on now while you can, because it's about to take off this year. Rams, Ravens. We'll go Rams. Sneaky little upset. No take-backsies. I said it. You're right. No take-backsies. I got scared because I saw this, and it's like, there's no way the Ravens won't make the playoffs. What the heck is going on in the AFC East right now? I will say, it is probably the best division in football, but it's on crack right now. Vikings beat the Raiders. First time ever that the Vikings will play a game in Las Vegas. That's a true fact. I mean, think about it. The Raiders have only been there a few years. These two teams only play each other once every 4 years, once every 8 years, like in their own stadiums, because, you know, AFC versus NFC. So, yeah, first time the Vikings will ever play a game in Vegas. True story. That would be a fun one to go to. I don't think that my bank account could justify a trip to Vegas, though. That would be legendary. Oh, maybe one day. Bucks, Falcons. We're going to go with the Bucks as it heats up more in the South. Man, this division is really going to come down to the final week, won't it? Lions, Bears, Tigers, oh my. We'll go Lions. Yeah. The Lions should win this division. Also, they have the 2nd seed right now. Oh boy. Panthers, Saints, big game. Winner takes the lead for the division. It's in New Orleans, and the Panthers win it. That's right. I'm starting to let my preconceived biases seep in just a little bit. But also, I don't know. I think I have them splitting, so that's fair. Panthers win a big one. They take the lead for the division. Niners win a big one. They take the lead for their division. And here we go. Eagles, Cowboys. What I say they're going to do, they're going to split. They're splitting. Dallas wins at home. We're starting to heat up. The playoff picture is really starting to come into focus. Packers, Giants. Giants need one to stay in the hunt. They get it. Packers 4-9. They're probably a little better than their record indicates. Here we go. Week 15, they're coming around the corner. The race is heating up. It's like Preakness or the Kentucky Derby. I'll scroll down real quick so you guys can see this division, their standings. It's really starting to get spicy, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the AFC. Here we go. Chargers, Raiders, Chargers. They get one. Raiders are 2-12. What's happened? They're probably better than that record too, but that's what's happened. The Raiders are 2-12. Oh man. Good times. Steelers, Colts. We're going to go with the Colts. Steelers are now, where are they? 7-7. Hey, Mike Tomlin fighting to keep that streak alive. Jets, Dolphins. And the Dolphins get a big-time win. They needed it. Oh, man, did they need it. And they get it against the Jets in Miami. The Heat. Tyreek and Waddle. Mostert. Pass rush goes crazy. Ramsey's back at this point. Big win for the Dolphins. Finally operating at full strength. Maybe Armstead is back too. Texans, Titans. We'll go Titans. Texans are at 2-12. Oh, man. Ravens, Jags. Rematch of a great game from last year. And the Jags do it again. The Ravens are 8-6. And for as much as I've been gassing up Lamar, they're on the outside looking in for the playoffs with only a few weeks to go. Chiefs, Patriots. I'm not going to be irresponsible and pick the Patriots. I will pick the Chiefs. I had to resist the devil on my shoulder. Bears, Browns. We'll go Bears. Oh, the Packers are in the basement. Oh, no. I will say, if I had to order the teams, that's not how I would order them. But that's how it's happening. Broncos, Lions. We'll go Lions. Vikings, Bengals. Bengals. Cowboys, Bills. Ooh, this is a fun little 90s throwback. Also, two very good teams now. We'll go Bills. We will go with the Bills. Falcons, Panthers. Panthers. Oh, that's a tough one, though. But the Panthers on Saturday at home. Big win for them. NFC Championship rematch from 2020. We've got the Packers and the Bucks. Packers get the win there. They avenge some demons, maybe a little bit. Kevin King, shout out. Good old Kevin King. Caden, if you're still in here, you remember watching that game? I'm not going to lie. I was trying to rein in my celebration there. I didn't want to be mean, but I was pretty happy that the Bucks won that game. I will say, for as much as I've said I've respected the Packers, I was happy the Bucks won that game. Oh, man. Giants, Saints. Well, no, we'll go Giants. Oh, no take-backsies. No take-backsies. I said Saints. Saints win. Niners, Cardinals, Niners. Commanders, Rams. I don't really have an opinion either way. Commanders are probably slightly better, so we'll give it to them. And then Eagles, Seahawks. We'll go Eagles. I feel like that's pretty legit. Folks, we are just a few weeks away from the playoffs. And then the playoffs is when it's going to get cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, as my dad would like to say. Bengals, proud owners of the 1 seed for the moment, playing the Steelers, and they get a big win to hold on. Bills versus Chargers. The Bills keep pace. They match up pretty well against the Chargers. I feel like I've explained myself enough at this point. The rationale, what I think of these teams. Why I'm picking what I'm picking. Browns, Texans. Oh, Deshaun Watson comes back to Houston. I'm going to say Houston scores 26 times and they win. Patriots, Broncos. Broncos. Oh, the Broncos have a winning record. Oh, boy. Raiders, Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs. Commanders, Jets. Jets need to win to stay for the division race. They get it against the Commanders. Colts, Falcons. Falcons get a big win. They're now 7-8. It's heating up in the South again. Just like the summer here. It's super hot. Seahawks, Titans. This is one of those games that the Titans are just going to win because why not? Again. Oh, the Seahawks are now 7-8. What happened? They started off so well. Oh, they're just like the 2016 Vikings. Oh, no. Or the 2015 Falcons, for that matter. Jags, Bucks. The Jags are 11-4. Cowboys, Dolphins. Cowboys. Ravens, Niners. Super Bowl rematch again. I love calling out these Super Bowl rematches. We'll go with the Ravens. They get a big, much-needed win. Lamar masterclass on the road. Saints, Rams. Got to be the Saints, right? Yeah. Packers get a big win over the Panthers. Both these teams are 8-7 now. Packers hanging in there. Vikings, Lions. Here we go. Okay. So, this is a big game. The Vikings are fighting for their wild card lives, maybe even trying to push for the division. 2 of their last 3 games are against the Lions. I would like to tell you guys about the budding rivalry between the Vikings and the Lions. I think for the most part, throughout most of my life, as a Vikings fan, it's always been, man, screw the Packers, screw the Bears. Oh, the Lions, they're cool. I'm not going to lie. My pendulum on the Lions, like this is the middle. This is, oh, I love them. They're my favorite team. This is, I hope they fold as an organization. It's swinging a little bit this way. So, so I think there's just been a lot of close games between these two teams. Like over the past 2 seasons, it's an even split. The Vikings have won 2 and the Lions have won 2. They've all been pretty memorable games too. So 2 years ago, right, these two teams played early in the year. The Vikings won on a last-second field goal. That was the game where, like, Kirk was, like, celebrating by almost, like, beating up Zimmer, And he was, like, getting all in his face and stuff. The Vikings almost choked that game. And at that point, the Lions hadn't won a game yet. Well, fast forward to later in the season. At this point, I think the Lions are 0-10, and they're playing the Vikings at home. And the Lions win this game for their first win on the season. And, I mean, I get, like, good vibes or whatever, but, man, they're running around like they won the Super Bowl. And the NFL world is just parading like, yeah, they did it. They won a game, right? And I get it. It was, like, a cool moment. Like, it's always cool to see, like, these players are humans. Like, obviously they're happy they won. But again, I was a victim because it was my favorite team that it happened against. That's my line of thinking. It's stupid. I don't actually hate the Lions. But then next year, this past season, right? So they play early in the year. And at this game, the Lions were up early. This was in Minnesota. The Vikings come back. I think they were down 10 in the fourth quarter. They come back and win. Crazy game, close game. They squeak it out, which they did a lot of times, which, led to the frauds label. And this is where things really start to boil over. At this point, Vikings and Lions are set to meet in Detroit again late in the year. It's December. The Vikings, I believe, are 10-2, and the Lions are 6-7 or something like that. And the Lions are 2-point favorites. And everyone's like, the Lions, like, they've been cooking on offense, and maybe they are the better team. And let me tell you, I wanted to win that game by 50. I was at home with COVID, so I was like quarantined. So I was spending all of my days like just scrolling Twitter on my phone when I wasn't playing Wii Golf. I was just scrolling Twitter and just like all these people just praising the Lions and like calling us like Vikings the worst team ever. I wanted to win that game by 50. And we lost. Not only did we lose, but they had to pull out like this Mighty Ducks like baloney trick play, throw it to Sewell to get the first down, and oh my goodness, I was actually livid when that play happened. As soon as I saw Sewell like leak out, as soon as like Goff dropped back to pass, I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna throw it to their offensive lineman, and they just I see two people have left. I'm probably spending too much time venting about the Lions, but also like the Jameson Williams trade, and like, you know, oh, the Lions fleeced the Vikings. And of course, Jameson Williams, one catch the whole season just happened to be against us, where they like draw up this long play for him to get a long touchdown against us. Like, I don't know, like there's a little like beef brewing between these two teams. I think it's kind of funny how these two teams play 2 of the last 3 weeks. I think these are going to be some fun games. I'm going to say we split. We'll win at home. The Lions will win at home. And that should be enough for the Lions to win the division, which I think is fair. I think they are a better team than the Vikings this year. But I will be up and ready for these games, I will say. I actually respect the Lions. Like, I don't actually hate them. I don't actually hate any team, let me say that. There are just some teams that can sometimes be fun to root against. And I think it's funny that the Lions have become the villain to me, which most people would not share that take. Caden says, which one? Which one as in what? I was kind of lost in my own world there, but I will gladly answer your question. While we wait, we'll do Bears and Cardinals, which the Bears should win, and then Eagles will beat the Giants on Monday Night Football. Closing in a little bit. Tight division race. We're approaching hour number 3 as we hit week 17. We're so close, people. We're so close. Jets, Browns. Jets. Raiders, Colts. Raiders. They need a win. Dolphins, Ravens. Ravens get a big one. Madden 20 Classic. If you know, you know. Patriots, Bills. Bills. Titans, Texans. Titans. Bengals, Chiefs. Here we go. This is the rivalry right now. This is the premier rivalry in the NFL. Burrow versus Mahomes. Bengals versus the Chiefs. Two Midwest teams that have an animosity towards each other. It's in Burrowhead. The mayors have been involved. Travis Kelce is like, you know, shut your mouth and know your role, you jabroni, and stuff like that. Oh, the Bengals are going to do it again. The Bengals are going to come into Arrowhead and win again. Oh, this game is on New Year's Eve, I believe. This game is going to be awesome. Jack says, Ravens flock, let's fly. Yes, sir. Let's fly indeed. That wasn't much of a Raven gesture, but Chargers, Broncos, we'll go Chargers. Panthers, Jags, Jaguars. Seahawks and Steelers. Seahawks. They're trying to beat the 2016 Vikings allegations. They're fighting like heck. Cowboys over Lions. Eagles over Cardinals. Rams versus Giants. Giants. Niners. Ooh, Saints. Falcons versus Bears. Falcons. Oh, it's heating up. Vikings, Packers. Vikings. Oh my goodness, the Vikings took the lead for the division. They're going to be playing the Lions in the final week for the division. If this actually happened, if Vikings versus Lions was for the division in the final week of the regular season, I think my head would explode, to be honest. I would be so scared for this game. Especially with what I'm probably going to pick. But final week of the regular season. So we will have the Jets. I mean, these teams will probably be resting their starters at some will. We're not going to overthink it. Jets will beat the Patriots. Bills will beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins are clinging to their playoff lives right now. Ravens beat the Steelers. Oh, Tomlin loses his streak. That stinks. That's too bad. I've always liked Mike Tomlin. Viking product. Bengals or Browns? Go Browns. Sure. I don't know how much it'll affect things. It might if the Chiefs win. There's always that one weird game at the end that just throws everything off. Texans will get a win versus the Colts. Jags, Titans. Yeah, this will be the game that the Titans take off the Jags, you know. Chiefs, Chargers, Chiefs. Broncos, Raiders. We'll go Raiders. Bucks, Panthers. This won't be for the division. I will go Panthers here. Cowboys, Commanders, Cowboys. Eagles over Giants. Lions over Vikings. I'm sorry. The Lions will win the division. That is my pick. And honestly, if this actually happened, I think the Lions would win. If it was winner take all in Detroit, I think the Lions would beat us. I'm going to be honest. But hey, the Vikings, they're looking like they're going to be in the playoffs. Not bad. Packers beat the Bears. Falcons, Saints. Saints. Oh, I'm sorry, Falcons fans. Not this year. I'm sorry, guys. That was kind of mean. It also is in New Orleans, so I feel like that's legit. I don't know. And Derek Carr versus Desmond Ridder with the playoffs on the line in New Orleans. Come on. I feel like that's legit. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. They're probably glad they got the Cardinals at the end. And the Niners beat the Rams. All right, we've made it to the playoffs. Let's go. All right, so let's go through these standings real quick before we get to the playoffs, and then I promise we'll get cooking on the playoffs. So the Bills get the 1 seed at 14-3. I don't know how many people have the Bills with the 1 seed. I will say if I were to make this myself, I actually might agree. I might actually give the Bills the 1 seed. Bengals 2, Chiefs 3, just on the tiebreaker of the Bengals beating the Chiefs. That's legit. I feel like both teams have a fairly good shot at going 13-4. Jaguars at the 4 seed at 12-5. That stinks for them. Heck of a season for them, but they get the 4 seed because they're in the AFC. But I also think that they probably are still the worst division winner in the AFC, so I think the 4 seed is legit for them. Jets get the first wild card at 13-4. Want to talk about tough luck. And then the Ravens 11-6, Dolphins at 9-8. Those are the playoff teams. I agree with all those playoff teams. I think if I had to pick the playoff teams out of the AFC, those would be the ones that I pick. So I'm very happy with how the AFC playoff field turned out. I would probably agree for the NFC as well. Cowboys getting the 1 seed. A little spicy, but again, I don't know, man. They're really good. Niners 2 seed, 11-6. Okay. I feel like, maybe they'll lose a few more games this year. Saints 10-7, 3 seed. Lions 10-7, 4 seed. I would probably flip-flop these two teams if I were just to blindly make it like a list. But 10 wins for the Lions seems fair. Saints 10 wins is maybe a little much. I would probably say more of 9. Also, poor Panthers going 9-8 but not making it because the Vikings beat them for the tiebreaker. But yeah, Eagles top wild card at 12-5, then the Seahawks, and then the Vikings. And again, if I had to pick the playoff teams, I think these are the teams that I would pick. I might change the order a little bit. Really, just the big thing would be swapping the Saints and the Lions. But for the most part, I feel like that's pretty good. You're talking about watching a game. There's a lot of games I've talked about watching. I can go back and look later, but there's a lot of games I'm excited for. I'll tell you that. All right, let's go to the playoffs, baby. Here we go. All right, so wild card, super wild card weekend. We'll start with the AFC. First up, we have the Jets versus the Jaguars, and it's in Jacksonville. You know, Duval County is rocking. Everyone's up. At this point, you know, I'm considered like the king of Jacksonville because of my Jaguars video, and you know, they actually did it. They're good. They went 12-5. Trevor Lawrence won MVP. And in the other corner, you have Aaron Rodgers on his last legs, the old gunslinger on a new team, fighting, scratching, and clawing. And they're going to get it done. The Jets with a big road win in their road to a Super Bowl. The Jaguars' magical season comes to an early end. Next game, Lamar versus Mahomes. It doesn't get much better than this, does it? We've seen some classic games between these two. Mahomes fighting, chasing after GOAT status. Not even just best quarterback in the NFL, but best ever in Arrowhead. And the Chiefs get it done. They move on as they try and defend their Super Bowl title. And then we have the Dolphins hobbling into the playoffs. They've been injured. They fought like heck, but they made it. They still have weapons. Tua has played a full season, much to the delight of everyone. Ramsey is back. He's running his mouth. Epic matchup between Ramsey and Jamar Chase. And the Bengals get it done in Cincinnati. The Dolphins can't handle the cold. Now over to the NFC. The Eagles versus the Lions. Detroit, they're excited to host a playoff game. It's been a long time, for the Motor City Kitties. It's about time the sun shines on Detroit. The Eagles, they're mad. They thought they should have won the Super Bowl last year. They're mad they're even playing in this game. They think they're still the best team in the NFL. And they knock off the Lions. The Lions' magical run comes to an end. Seahawks versus Saints in the Superdome. We've seen this playoff matchup a few times. Geno Smith still has not written back to the haters yet. He's dealing to the elite receivers. The Saints with Derek Carr have found new life. New Orleans loves their Saints, don't they? But the Seahawks are the second road team to get a win in the playoffs. The Saints see their season come to an end. And then, to cap things off, a rematch from a few years ago. The Vikings come into the Bay to play the Niners. Can the Vikings possibly do it? Can Justin Jefferson be superhuman? Can Kirk Cousins show up Kyle Shanahan? Can the Vikings get it done on the road? No. I don't like that matchup for us. And the Niners are just a better team. Moving on now to the divisional round. Here we go. This is the real cream of the crop. The 1 seeds get to join the fun. And here we go again. The classic battle. We all knew this was going to happen, didn't we? This was inevitable. It's Bengals versus Chiefs. This time, it's in Cincy. And this time, the Bengals win. The Bengals go 2-0 against the Chiefs. The Bengals are going to the AFC Championship game. The defense steps up and makes big plays. Burrow, once again, shows up in the big moment. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, they're all just too much. The Chiefs can't quite find that extra juice. And they think, man, wouldn't it be nice to have Tyreek Hill right now? And then we have another rivalry, divisional battle. The Jets, they think they can win the Super Bowl. They just came in and knocked off the Jaguars. They beat the MVP. The new look Bills are ready, though. You see, this time, the snow is falling again in Buffalo. It's set up for a cold, ground-and-pound, hard-nosed game. But this time, the Bills are ready. The Bills play Bills football, and they move on to the championship game, where we will have another glorious rematch over in the NFC. Talk about rematch. It's the Eagles and it's the Niners. The Eagles, they're set on proving that, you know what? Their win wasn't a fluke. They could have had Joe Montana out there, and the Eagles still would have whipped them. But not this time. The Niners are ready, led by a man named Sam Darnold at quarterback. The Niners are going to the championship game with Sam Darnold. That's right. Sam Darnold comes in, and he plays his tail off. More on Sam Darnold later. Not tonight, but another night. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold because we need to have a conversation. I truly believe Sam Darnold will be the 49ers starting quarterback at some point. He will take over. That's my take. That's all I'm going to say for now. And then the Seahawks coming to Jerry's world. Can the Cowboys, can they finally get it done? Is this finally their year? So many times they've come up short. They managed to avoid the Niners, at least for now. Can they finally get it done in the big spot? They do. Dallas gets the monkey off their back. They win a playoff game. They're going to the conference championship game. And here we go. maybe the 4 best teams in the NFL, the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. We'll start in the AFC. Once again, it's the Bengals and it's the Bills. And this time, the Bills get it done. By golly, the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Well, they will be facing the winner of the Niners and the Cowboys. So many great games. Troy Aikman versus Steve Young, Joe Montana. The catch was from this matchup. Ezekiel Elliott as a center. The Cowboys exercise their demons. They're going to the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. It's America's team versus the Buffalo Bills in the biggest game of the year. Both of the 1 seeds. And who's going to win? Who do you think? Chat right now. If this was the Super Bowl matchup, I'm going to take a quick water break and let you guys answer. If this was the Super Bowl matchup, who would you pick? Cowboys or Bills? I'll leave that one to you guys for a quick sec while I take a sip. I have my answer. Oh, I gotta say, my voice, I can feel a slight strain like right here because I've been talking a lot for over 3 hours now. But this has been awesome. All right, I'm just checking to see where I'm at in the stream right now. But yeah, let me know. As soon as I see some answers, I'll give mine. Don't worry, y'all aren't influencing me. I had a eureka moment yesterday of my Super Bowl pick. Jack says Bills, but screw Josh Allen. Jack has beef with Josh Allen because of Madden. Josh Allen stole his Rookie of the Year award back in the high school days. All right. I think I've let the suspense build up enough. Your Super Bowl champions. For the first time in franchise history, it's the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are my Super Bowl pick for this year. They have remade their team. They have built from the ground up. They can now win those tough ground and pound games. Josh Allen really is an alien. Stephon Diggs, matchup nightmare. Their defense is incredible. Top to bottom, they are one of the best rosters in the NFL. And they have come so close for so many years. And finally, through everything, through Damar Hamlin, through 13 seconds left, through a pummeling in the snow versus Cincinnati, finally, the Lombardi Trophy graces the city of Buffalo, New York, as the streets run orange with wing sauce, and the Buffalo Bills are Dr. Pigskin's pick to be the Super Bowl champions. What else is there to say, man? That's all I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was a blast. Over 3 hours, my longest stream yet. A lot of people popping in and out. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for tuning in. It really does mean the world to me. I will say before I go that I had a lot of fun doing this. And, with the season coming right around the corner, ultimately at the end of the day, that is my goal, is to have fun. I will be honest, I do have big aspirations for this channel, this brand or whatever. This is legitimately something that I'm going to try and do. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But this is actually my goal. And the big reason why it's my goal is at the end of the day, it is fun. And I will always want it to be fun. And I don't know, a stream like this tonight is just a reminder of how fun it is that I get to sit here and talk football with you guys for 3 hours. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. New video coming out Monday. That's going to be a doozy. And get ready for some more streams. It's football time, baby. All right. That's all I've got. The doctor is out.